The Blue Jays are going all in this offseason, preparing for 2026. They've added Dylan Cease and Kazuma Okamoto from Japan. They've also revamped their bullpen, but none of those guys are on my Blue Jays roster. I have got one man only, Vladdy Jr.
Down and oh, baby! Goodbye! Vlad Jr. strikes again!
So starting with Vladdy and a roster full of 1 overall Joe randoms, I'm going to be rebuilding the Blue Jays from the ground up until we win a World Series. This is the third installment of One Man Only, and if you haven't seen the two before it, there are a couple of rules here, the first of which is the most obvious. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has to stay on the roster, and listen, this is a rule for a reason, because there's a chance that this could take a long time, and he could regress. So this contract could end up being pretty expensive when he's in his early to mid-30s if we haven't won a World Series title by then. Rule number 2, no limits in either the amateur draft or the Rule 5 draft. This is how I'm going to get most of our players throughout this video. Rule number 3, I can only get 3 free agents per offseason. In the beginning, it is incredibly hard to attract good free agents because we are going to be really bad. So they usually don't want to join bad teams, and also what you're seeing on your screen, we don't have a whole lot of budget, so it's not like I can go sign Tarek Skubal in 2027. And saving the hardest rule for last, I am not allowed to trade. I'm really excited for this one, and I'm excited for my Canadian fans out there. If you're here, leave a comment. The YouTube analytics haven't really gotten big enough yet for me to see how many Canadians are watching the videos, but I know there's got to be at least a few of you. So today I'm going to deliver glory to your team. My heart does go out to you for last season, but you do have to feel pretty excited. I mean, you can't get much closer to a title, and the Blue Jays are not backing down. They are adding more and more pieces to the roster. But like I said in the intro, none of those guys are here, so it's just Vladdy, and let's get this thing started. All right, here we go, and as always in year one, the team is most likely going to go 0-162, so we're just going to be focusing on scouting and drafting. That is all we need to worry about. We just need to get some talent on this team. We've got a pretty high pick in year one. We're picking at 8 and then 46, so I think I want to scout this 7th-ranked guy first here with some power over in left field. Looks to have speed and defense. Rank 7 in the class. Let's see how he looks. And of course, we are going to need quite a few pitchers, hopefully some that can help us out pretty soon. So we are going to be discovering pitchers by region, starting with international. Well, we discovered a great pitcher right away here, 10th ranked Ramon Rivera, so we'll definitely scout his profile. Some other guys moving up the board too. We've got the 42nd ranked guy here as well. Unfortunately, Lucero moved down the board a little bit. He still looks okay, but I'd like a little bit higher potential. Let's look at another power bat here early, this time a 21-year-old player, third baseman Ernesto Sosa. I haven't finished his profile, but he is looking promising right out of the gate here, so I think I will probably leave him here for now. He can also play left, but right now this is probably my favorite guy. And after just a week of scouting, Rivera has stayed at 10th ranked, so I'm feeling pretty good that he's going to be a great discovery starter. I already want to start looking at some 2nd and 3rd round options. This shortstop has zeros for contact, so definitely want to scout him. He's probably going to move up the board. I know I say it in every video, but the game is not going to produce a player with 0 for any of their stats. So usually if you see zeros, that's a good sign. He hasn't moved up the board yet, but I'll finish his profile. And there you go. Danny Emery is now ranked 5th in the class. I guess he was 57 before then. Only problem is the CPU is probably going to find him too, and I probably won't be able to get him in the 2nd round. He's actually too good. And after discovering international, central, and east pitchers for 2 weeks each, it's time to start looking at some position players. And there we go again. That first baseman is now ranked 20th, and I do actually think I can get him in the 2nd round because he started at 101. That makes me feel a little more confident. He's probably going to have like 95, 96 potential. By the way, I discovered the 48th ranked player in the class, and it is a reliever. He looks maybe too good, but I'll definitely scout him later on. We're going to need to get some good arms in the bullpen. Doesn't look like there's many good closer options. Maybe I can find somebody late. This guy does have a 0 in the profile. We'll see. And of course, we are steadily losing every single game by a lot, including this one right here that I'm highlighting. We lost 136-0. The box score is glitching out. It doesn't even know what to do. And if you look down here in the home runs, Ramon Laureano hit 15. So we are definitely letting the rest of the league tee off on us. I hope they're enjoying it because we're coming back for our revenge, and Whitaker fell down the board. And yet another discovery position player that's disappointing, so we'll keep looking around. It's a little more hit or miss compared to the pitchers. And speaking of that, I'm ready to start looking at the East region. I also want to go ahead and finish off Sosa's profile here because right now he's my favorite for the first round if I don't take a pitcher. So let me just make sure he is actually good. Well, we might need to find somebody else in the first round because he only looks okay after another week of scouting. We did discover some more infielders here. And once again, none that look good, so we're kind of struggling here. I'm interested in this first baseman. He's got a 0 for stealing, and the hitting stats look really well-rounded. Let's see if he's good. Yeah, he moved up the board quite a bit, and he just looks really solid at the plate. Probably would move up even further if I scouted another week, so this might be my new favorite guy for pick 10. Okay, here's my board. Scouting went pretty well. I've got quite a few position players that I like. I do think John Curson is my favorite, and I probably will put him at DH, so we'll have to see. Danny Emery is another option in the first round if I've got to reach for it. It'll be 50-50. I also have power-hitting right fielder Craig Kane. And the thing is that there are some good pitchers, so it's going to be a game-time decision. Orlando Sanchez looks phenomenal, so I could end up taking him in the first round. And then we've got lots of later-round plays, tons of pitchers here, and then our one reliever. And back up to the position players, a couple of these guys I can get later on. So maybe in that second or third round, we get somebody like Winters or Linder. I'm feeling good. Let's get this thing started, see how we do. I only lost one guy that I like ahead of me here. That was starting pitcher Walter Starr with great walks per 9. So I won't be able to get him. John Curson is still here, and I think these plate skills are just too good to pass up. And there's a chance, a small chance, that I can get Danny Emery in the second round. It's pretty unlikely. So I think we can come back around for pitchers. I think the play here is John Curson. And now a lot of guys are about to fall off the board as I sim to my next pick, but Danny Emery is still here. I'll have to pass up on some good pitchers, but I'd rather get Danny Emery. The contact is just so good. He's not going to hit any home runs, but he's going to go for batting titles and have like a 380 on base percentage. Unfortunately, I did lose Linder here to the 58th pick. He was probably going to be my third round guy, so now I most likely do need to take a pitcher because Lopez doesn't look that great, and I may even be able to get him in the next round if I want him. Vizcaino is more of a strikeout guy, which worries me a little bit, but he is the best discovery guy I've got here. I think that's our best bet. I think at least one of these other discovery pitchers will fall to a later round, so I feel like I should take this relief pitcher because I think there's a chance he could get taken, and having a bullpen arm I can rely on later on gives me some confidence. And yeah, all three of these guys are still here, so let's take Ramon Rivera. I think he's going to have like low B potential, but I do like the build. And lastly, I'm going to take a chance on a 21-year-old starter who is injured, but the thing is he's got a guaranteed high potential range, and if his overall is super low, it's okay because this is the first year and there's plenty of time for him to develop. That is draft 1. I am liking how that turned out for us. Considering everybody else is a Joe Random, it makes sense that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is our all-star this year. He's developing nicely. I believe he has 95 potential in this roster, and I'll put the roster in the description. This one is by the Lou Crew, another creator. Check him out. I did edit the roster a little bit to sprinkle some of our good players onto other teams. Like, for example, Shane Bieber is on the Rockies, and he is pitching amazingly. And for example, Kevin Gossman is on the A's, and he is also pitching really well, so I like to make the challenge just a little bit harder and spread some of our good players around the rest of the league. Back to Vladdy, though. So far this year, he's batting almost 300, 548 slug for a 915 OPS. Pretty dang good. Only 70.5 games out of the division here, so we are firmly in the hunt, and it's time to view our draft picks. I'm pretty excited about this. I feel like we got some really good picks here, and that is looking promising, especially at the top of the board. Curson came in with 94 potential and an excellent beard. This is more than I could have expected for him. The plate skills are excellent. He probably can't play in the outfield, but he can certainly hit the crap out of the ball. Our second rounder, Danny Emery, came in with 93 potential, and I love this kind of build. He may profile more as a second baseman, just because the defense is a little bit rough, but he does have some nice speed, excellent contact and plate skills. He's going to be ready for the show in just a couple of years. I had my concerns with Chris Vizcaino. He only had 85 potential, and he does have the Ks per 9. It is going to take him a while to develop because I really need to see hits per 9 and walks per 9 at least 60 or 65 to feel comfortable with the starter in the majors. Even though Ramon Rivera has 83 potential, I do like his build just that little bit more with the walks per nine. We'll have to see. 58 overall is kind of low. But the best pitcher we got here is actually the injured guy, Escalona. He is 93 potential, 64 overall. I was worried about this. He looks excellent. And finally, I have mixed feelings about our reliever, Thomas Seibel, because the clutch is bad and the hits per nine is kind of rough. But at least the Ks per nine and walks per nine are really good. I can't complain too much. The coolest guy I missed out on here is Simon Huber. He's got elite power over there at third. Obviously, the other plate skills will need a while to catch up, but because he has 93 potential, he is going to be really good. Overall, though, I feel like we absolutely nailed this draft, and if I would have got him, that means that I would have been able to get Curson or maybe Emery, and I feel very good about these guys. We're off to a great start in this video. 0 and 162 as always, and let's go ahead and see who's going to take home this World Series. It's going to be the Dodgers defeating the Orioles. The most annoying part of these rebuilds is the Joe Randoms always start retiring, and this time I feel like I've got especially a ton of them retiring. I'm going to have to sign so many random guys to fill out the roster. And I'm also going to need to sign some new coaches here, so let's start getting into this offseason, and we'll work through free agency, the Rule 5 draft. That is how we're going to build our first team of the video. Maybe I will try to start things off with a bang here in free agency and try to get Kris Bubic on the team. Lefties in the rotation. You know I like that. 200 innings, 2.73 ERA. He looks really good, and he's only 28. I wouldn't mind giving him the 6 years that he's asking for. It's just very hard to get a free agent of this caliber to join us. As you can see, we are long shots. Catcher is a very good position to try to fill in free agency as opposed to the Rule 5 because the options are usually terrible. I'm liking Ryan Jeffers. He only wants 2 years at 9.1. I want to go like 4 years with Jeffers. And later on, I want to come back around for Luis Rengifo if he's still here. For some reason, he didn't play last year, but he's only 29, and I want to give him like a 4-year deal. We've got no time to waste here with Kris Bubic. I've got to go for a 6-year deal right out of the gate here and even sweeten the pot just a little bit more. Let's try 30 and a half because it's hard to land free agents like this. I know I said that before, and that gives us a 5% boost. We might be off to a hot start here. Here we go. Looking for an ace 6-year deal. We got the Pens right out of the gate. Let's go. Just like the Jays getting Cease in real life, we are going for an ace immediately. Obviously, there's nobody else in the rotation, bullpen, and there's nobody else in the lineup, so we've still got a ways to go here. Rengifo is no longer on the board here, so he got scooped up pretty early for not being a super high-ranked free agent. I've got to try to find another option here. I'm wondering if I just go a little higher, aim a little higher, maybe try to get Gleyber Torres or even Nico Horner. I've got a different idea. Maybe we go for Willie Castro. He did not play last year for some reason, but I do think he's got that great positional flexibility, and because he's only 28, I'm willing to give him a longer-term deal as well. Jeffers' former team, the Twins, are interested, and usually the team that a player just came from has a very good chance of landing the player that they want. So I'm going to go up to 4 years and go for $10 million for Jeffers. He's going to be our catcher for a while. Okay, Ryan Jeffers, first try. Welcome to the team. We won 0 games, so please give me the first pick. I don't know how many first picks we're going to have the chance of getting throughout this video. I really want to compete a little bit earlier than my other 2 one-man onlys. That's my goal, and we dropped down to 3. That's still fine. It is amazing how rare it is to stay at that number 1 pick. I get it, though. It does make sense. And how about this? Joe Random to the Braves, 6 years, $28 million a year. Maybe they got fooled by this glitch in his ERA. It was definitely not 4.35. He gave up 531 hits in 128 innings. It's now time to get the majority of our team in the Rule 5 draft. Let's see what we've got. I think the first guy I want here is starter Brendan Beck. He should have high C potential. He's got pretty good walks per 9. No options taken yet. Going to be cheap for a while. That is going to be my first pick. 79 potential. Let's give Justin Henry Malloy a shot in the outfield. He's got good discipline and at least a little bit of pop there. I don't think the defense is going to be good, but with 78 potential, we'll take a bet on him this early. I like another starter here, Carson Spires, for the same reasons as the other one I grabbed. He's got good walks per 9. Only 73 potential, though. 21 players have been selected here. We'll be riding into battle with these guys. I did take one lotto ticket on a 19-year-old shortstop with 87 potential, but he is still quite a ways away from being any good. I figured it can't hurt, though. Let's go get Willie Castro, and we'll be ready for this season. Call me crazy. I don't think this lineup is half bad. It's not good, but it's not half bad. Castro in the 1. We've got him long term. We'll see what he can do. The flexibility is huge because he can play left field for me against righties and then third base against lefties. Jeffers is all the way up in the 2 against lefties. He's got some nice contact here. We'll see how he does at the plate. Of course, Vladdy, our best player in the 3 hole. I found a DH, Lucan Baker, who I think is actually not going to be half bad. So we've got him there in the 4. Jeffers moves down against lefties, and Jonah Bride against righties is actually not too bad. So I've got him up there in the 2. And then the last 2 guys, I went full defense. So elite shortstop defense and really good center field defense and speed. And here is our rotation and bullpen, with everybody being from the Rule 5 except for our ace, Kris Bubic. I actually don't feel too bad about these guys. We got Spires, Waddell, who's a reliever, Beck, and Tommy Henry is the one that I'm not so sure about, but he is a lefty, so we'll see how that goes. Bullpen, there wasn't as many good options as there usually is for me in the Rule 5, but I still feel okay about it. We got our guy Justin Brule. He's a classic for me. And then John Curtis is going to be our closer. Hey, we went 12-14 at spring training, so I'm saying there's a chance. Here we go, and right out of the gates here, we're facing a very good lefty in his own right. Shane McClanahan will be dueling against Kris Bubic. We've got some storylines this year. How are our free agents going to develop? Willie Castro not able to catch up to that one. And then, like I just mentioned, are any of the Rule 5 guys going to turn into something? Most of them had mid to high C potential, but I did go for a couple of lottery tickets. And our main storyline, of course, every single season is how is our superstar, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., going to perform? Great year last year. You can see the numbers down there in the bottom right. Is he going to be able to follow that up? Is he going to be able to do even better now that he's got at least some other guys in the lineup protecting him? Here's a 1-2, starting the season. Great changeup. I would say that Kris Bubic is the best free agent that I've been able to land in the first year of all the one-man only so far. I think I said it. It's hard to get these kind of guys when your team is terrible. I think his price is pretty fair. I mean, 28 years old, 90 overall, $30 million a year. Somebody we could believe in at the top of the rotation for this entire video. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the season. So we'll see what we can do here. Bubic did give up 2 in his outing on opening day, and now it looks like the bullpen is struggling. We're down 4-0. And just like that, we are down to our final strike here. Brandon Ward, shortstop at the plate. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, third base, and Carson Williams on the run. We lose 6-2 on opening day. So McClanahan shuts us down pretty easily. I'm thinking if we could get 70 wins, that is my goal for this year. Long shot goal would be to go 500. So I signed Bubic, which does mean I forfeit one of our picks. However, we do pick at number 3, and I do see some great options. There's a college shortstop here, number 1 player in the class, but a little further down, there's a couple guys I like a lot. Second baseman Arellano from Massachusetts looks very promising, and so does catcher Rod Hardesty with great contact and defense. So those are going to be the guys that I scout first. We need to focus on the first round pick, and then hopefully we can get some good pitchers for the later rounds. Okay, Ruben here is almost definitely generational. He's got the descending hitting stats, and he's got the potential range after 2 weeks that I'm always looking for, so he is without a doubt my first overall choice. However, like I said, we need a backup plan, so let's take a look at Rod Hardesty and see if he is good. We also discovered a good closer here, Sam Cordova, ranked 45th, and he looks promising, so we'll come back around to him way later in the scouting. Well, we did get on a little bit of a losing streak here to finish out April, including getting swept by Boston in our division, and I think that was 5 in a row that we lost. Actually, it was more than that. It's like 7 or 8, so now we are in last place. And Hardesty's just okay. I thought he'd move up the board, but I do love the plate skills and the fact that he can play right field if he can't catch. I still need to find another option, though. And we found another good closer late round here. He looks a little bit more too good to be true, but that's some potential late round plays. We're also discovering some guys as well as starters. So we'll see how it goes. Let's check the central region for starters. Okay, well, shortstop Medina, who was that number 1 player in the class, would be a safe bet for us if we need to. He's an absolute athlete with that speed and defense. The plate skills are very average, but I wouldn't mind taking him if I need to. We'll probably have to lean into discovery for our late round options since there's really no point in me trying to scout too much for that second round since we pick at 78, so that's probably going to be my strategy. We just hit the jackpot in discovery. In the same week, we found the 9th-ranked player, a right fielder, and the 10th-ranked player, a center fielder, so I will definitely check these guys out. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about this draft, despite only having 5 picks. We are starting to turn it on here a little bit. All of a sudden, we've got a hot streak going, and we are almost back up at 500 again. Still in fourth place, but 36 and 41 is actually not too bad. Vladdy is hot and by far our best player with a 1.075 OPS. He is absolutely carrying an offense that is ranked second to worst, ahead of the Rockies, which is kind of nuts because they play in the most hitter-friendly ballpark. Sadly, both those Discovery guys didn't look too good. The best out of them is A-Rod here, although I don't really think he's even that great because he started at 10th or 9th and moved down to 29th. I'm starting to look later in the class for some potential options so that we have some choices when we get to that like 130th pick, but nothing really great so far. And that good play was short-lived as we would go on to lose 8 in a row, and we're back in the basement. I'm all done scouting starters, so let's take a look at these closers now. And by the way, they are the 2 highest-ranked closers in the class. I'm going to start with Cordova because I feel a little bit better about him, and I'm not going to be able to scout their profiles fully because they're both 19. I also think I found a super late-round gem here, an unranked third baseman, and I think he's probably going to move up the board, so I want to scout him for a couple of weeks to make sure that he will be available. I actually like my board a lot for Draft 2 here. It all starts with this generational talent, Ruben Arellano. At least I believe he is generational, and that is who I want first. If I can't get him, I probably will take this shortstop. He can start in the majors soon. He's going to be a gold glove and a 45 stolen base type of guy. If for some reason I go pitcher, it'll be Luis Hernandez, ranked 3 in the class. I don't think I'm going to do that, but maybe. And then Salinas ended up here at 6th. I'd love to get him in the second round, but the odds are kind of slim. I have one great Discovery starter here, Arthur McKenna, another good second round option for us as well. And later on, I'm hoping that A-Rod out in center or these closers are available for us to take at the end. Burke ended up looking good. And by the way, that third baseman who started non-ranked is now ranked 78th. He's going to be a massive project, but he will almost definitely have a potential. We just have to pray that the Sox and the Rockies don't snipe us here. Do not show me that second baseman. He is taken first overall. Who is going to go second? Don't be the shortstop. Okay, it's the starter. I think I've had pretty good luck with generational talents overall, so if he is generational, I guess I can't complain too much, and that does leave Medina as the pretty clear first choice. Shortstop is a very important and expensive position in free agency, and I do feel like this is a safe but good pick for us. Alejandro Medina, welcome to the Blue Jays. All right, let's sim ahead and see who is still here. It looks like our first baseman is gone. He went 39th, so if we had a second-round pick, maybe we could have got him, but obviously that is not the case. A-Rod and the 2 closers are still here, so that's good. I think the clear-cut choice is going to be Arthur McKenna. Might be a bit of a project for a pitcher, but the walks per 9 looks pretty good. It's really just that potential range that looks excellent, and let's get another good starter we could believe in. I don't think that the CPU discovered any of the top 3 guys left on my board, including A-Rod. I'm still not sure about the closers, though, and I feel like we need to secure Sam Cordova. He's the best closer in this class. I want to go with him here. Burke and A-Rod are still here, so maybe I can get him later. I'm not sure if JT's going to get taken or not. I think I want to take JT just because he's probably going to have a potential. Now it's a really tough call between A-Rod and Burke, the closer, because A-Rod moved down the board. Remember, he was ranked 9th or 10th, I believe it was, before we scouted him. He's probably going to have like mid to low beat potential, and this closer has a really nice profile with the hits per 9 and the walks per 9. Kind of ends up being a weird draft, but I'm going with another closer, Brian Burke. I wish I had one more pick there. I would have liked to have taken A-Rod as well, but I still feel pretty good about how we did there. All-Star break, so let's check in on the team here. Vladdy is up to 95 overall, and like I showed you before, he's having a great year. He did tick down just a little bit from the previous update, but he still has over a 1. OPS. That is phenomenal. He is your best first baseman in the AL. Outside of him, though, it is pretty tough sledding besides Ryan Jeffers, which makes me pretty happy. He's not doing well against lefties, but improving against righties, which was his weaker side. 782 OPS with a 344 on base. That is pretty good. His WAR is at 3.1. I think the signing is going to work out well. Unfortunately, we don't have any breakouts right now from any of the Rule 5 guys. And look at Willie Castro down here with a 558 OPS. That is unacceptable. He hasn't even improved. I'm pretty sure when I signed him, he was 70 overall. So this is disappointing so far, and we've got 3 more years. There are some pretty solid arms in the bullpen, but John Curtis is far and away performing the best. Our closer is 24-2 with a sub-1 ERA and WHIP. That is phenomenal. A couple other guys have been pretty good, and Bubic has been our best starter. I can't say this is an unbelievable season for him with a 3.5, but still pretty solid, and once he gets a better defensive team around him, maybe that'll improve. The guys around him have just not really been that good. We've got Beck and Spires with a 4 ERA. That's not bad, but Waddell and Henry both over 5. Bubic is really having to do a lot of work here. And we are 39 and 57 at the break here, so not really on pace like I thought we would be. We're going to have to suit up for next year and hope we could do a little bit better. I still think there are some decent pieces getting put in place. Well, the current guys aren't doing too good on the roster, but our prospects over in New Hampshire, the AA guys, are actually doing great. Our starting pitcher, Abraham Escalona, is showing some really good feel at the plate. He's got a 2.78 ERA. Our most promising bat, John Curson, has a 920 OPS. He's our number 1 ranked prospect. And our second ranked prospect, Danny Emery, the shortstop with great plate skills, is adding a little bit of power, especially against lefties. And he's getting on base at a 361 clip, 784 OPS. I'm liking how the farm system's looking. And we've got the chance here to add some more talent to our farm system that I was just talking about. Let's take a look at our year 2 draft picks. And everybody is in the blue here. This is looking very promising. Our first overall pick, Alejandro Medina, is 71 overall with 91 potential. The speed and the defense is fantastic. It looks like he may struggle a little bit against lefties, but I still think he's going to be a very solid long-term piece of the team. Pick of the draft was this Discovery starter, Arthur McKenna. How about this guy? 64 overall, 97 potential. The only issue is he has 11 clutch, but I should be able to train that up to like 35 or 40, which I think will be okay, considering the rest of the stats are going to be fantastic. And we got 2 closers, 2 bullpen guys for the long term. Sam Cordova, super well-rounded, great hits per 9, home runs per 9, nice clutch. I like him a lot with 90 potential. And then Brian Burke has 86 potential. He is 69 overall, and he's got elite hits per 9, lacking a little bit in home runs per 9, but overall, I think he looks great too. I'm worried that in this roster, there might not be as many good relief arms available in the Rule 5 draft, and I usually don't like to use too many of our free agents on relievers until maybe later on. So I think these are valuable picks, and Jay Teague coming in with 93 potential, 51 overall, just really solid for how late of a gem he was. He is a big-time project. I mean, we're talking 4, potentially even 5 years in the minors, so it's about 50-50 that we'll see him in this video. And here is our guy, Ruben. He is generational, 81 overall with 99 potential. It's unfortunate that I wasn't able to get him. He looks really, really good. We've got a lot to look forward to next year, so I'm just going to keep simming through the rest of this season, and I will see you in the offseason where we've got to make some good moves. Well, a very disappointing year, 61 and 101. I think I set the target at 70 or maybe even 500. We definitely did not come close to that. The best thing about the season was the guy in the title of this video. Vladdy had a 951 OPS this year. Now, he was setting a little bit higher pace than that, but still, this is really, really solid. He put up 5.2 WAR. That is good at first base. I'm also very happy with Ryan Jeffers putting up a 749. He got better against righties, which is great to see. That's a really solid year from behind the plate. Also put up 4 WAR. I've been working on his defense, trying to improve that a little bit. Of the Rule 5 guys, Jonah Bride, Justin Henry Malloy, and Lucan Baker did the best at the plate. Around a 700 OPS for the 3 of them, nothing special. Closer John Curtis was incredible, 37-4, so I gave him a 2-year extension into his age 34 season. He's going to be around for a while. There were a couple arms in the pen that are okay and might come back. Bubic with a 3.5 ERA. If this is a bad year, that's really good. If this is a good year during this contract, I'd be a little disappointed, so hopefully he turns this around as this video goes on. We've got so much work to do. Second worst offense in the league with Vladdy carrying a lot of that, and Willie Castro, by the way, I forgot to mention him. He was terrible, so we need more out of him for sure. And ultimately, our ERA for the year was 4.2, which is 25th. So we're starting slow here. I did think we'd be a little bit on a little faster pace than usual in the one-man onlys, but not quite. At least the farm system is looking really good, and we get to add some new talent going into 2027 as the Cubs win the 2026 World Series. And by the way, I moved Dylan Cease over to the A's before I started this. That was part of the sprinkling of good talent around the league. He just won the Cy Young. AL MVP goes to Aaron Judge, and NL MVP goes to Shohei Ohtani. What else is new? Pretty much our entire lineup is terrible right now, so almost anything is an upgrade. I've got a couple guys that I'm interested in here. Left field, I like both Matt Vierling and I like Lars Nootbaar. I'd kind of be happy with either one of them. It's a pretty negligible difference between the two. I don't think I've signed Matt Vierling before, so I'm going to throw him on the board. The big target I want is utility man Brendan Donovan. He is very good. He's had excellent on-base percentage in the 2 years that have been simulated here, 3.6 and 4.6 WAR. I don't want to go 5 years, but I think I'd be okay with 3 or 4 if he's willing to do that. It's unlikely that we can sign him for what I want, though. We've already got an ace, so I kind of want to shop in the middle market for some pitching. How about Ranger Suarez here? He'd be a nice 2 behind Bubic for now. I don't know why he's not pitched the last 2 years. Something weird's going on there, but he's another lefty. He's looking for 2 years at 12.7. I think I'd be willing to go 3 for him. This does not look like regression. I think this is what happens. I believe -4s are what happens when a player is just not playing. Most of the ARB guys are going to get a contract here. They were all fairly effective, except for Abraham Toro. Check this out. He put up -4 WAR. Yeah, he can kick rocks. Not going to happen with Donovan. 2 heavy hitters here, the Dodgers and the Yankees, and surprisingly, the Brewers are interested in him. 34%. I'm not even going to give it a shot. We're going to have to way overpay him. He goes to the Dodgers for 4 at 18. We are looking to be in great shape with Vierling and Suarez, so I can focus on those guys, and let's see who I want to get instead of Donovan. I guess let's throw Lars on the board here and just try to upgrade our outfield. Both of these guys have some positional flexibility. Vierling could actually play third, which is another position of need for us. So let's see if we can make this work. Got the highest odds here again for the first overall pick. So let's see if we can move up this time. We got bumped last time. We're still waiting for our free agents to increase their motivation. And we did move up here, up 1 spot to the second overall pick. All right. And while we are waiting for those free agents, let's head over to the Rule 5 and see if there's anybody we can add to the squad here. Let's grab another lotto ticket guy here, center field and infielder Mitch Jebb. Kind of interesting build with some good vision. I think he'll be okay. He's going to be riding the bench next year, but 82 potential. Take the shot. And then for the bullpen, I think I'd like to add Max Kranick. I don't know if I've added him before. He's got some good stamina. Walks per 9 looks pretty good. Not sure about the potential. Let's see. 76. Okay. Not bad. Room for growth there. That is going to be it. The Rule 5 has not been quite as bountiful as it can be for me. All right, everybody was over 60% here, so I offered 3 years to Vierling, 4 to Nootbaar, and 2 to Suarez. I just don't want to take the chance in case he does start to regress, so I just went 2. All right, Ranger Suarez is in. Lars Nootbaar is in. And Matt Vierling is in. Nootbaar is my leadoff guy against righties, and then Vierling is our new leadoff guy against lefties. So they're pretty... They work out great, honestly, with each other. And we've got a lot of positional flexibility here. So Castro's, for example, moving over to second base against lefties. I had to bump him down quite a bit. He was leading off for us a lot last year, and that did not go too well. As fate would have it, we face Shane McClanahan on back-to-back opening days. This time, though, of course, he's in an Athletics uniform. Last time he dominated us, but the roster is a little bit stronger this year, so hopefully we can at least fight back a little bit, although Vierling is staring at that slider right down the middle. His first at-bat with the team has gone to a full count here. Opening day, first hitter of the year. Here's the pitch, ball 4. Will Vladdy follow up a strong campaign last year with another one this year? I think he's got a chance at an MVP, and that is laser into left, and it's off the wall. That could have easily gotten out. Wilson coming to the plate, not in time. We're on the board. We haven't even had an out yet. That is a great start to the year for Vladdy. His classic absolute bullet line drive that just barely doesn't make it out. Jeffers, base hit up the middle. That's going to score another one. It's 2-0. Still a few pretty rough estimates here, especially our DH Luken Baker at 219. I don't love to see that. I want to see our ace with an ERA under 3 this year. That is my goal for him. The whip was just too high. The walks were good, but he was giving up way too many hits. We're going to be hard-pressed to find a pitcher better than him that's going to be good enough to overtake his number 1 spot throughout this video before we win a World Series. So that'll be an interesting challenge to see if that's something we're able to do. 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Grisham at the plate. Bubic trying to work out of the jam here in the second. That's down the middle. 107 off the bat. Back to the track, and that is over the wall. Grisham goes yard. It's 3-2 A's. I have entered a few games that you have not seen, as Vladdy interrupts him with a solo shot. I have entered a few games. Oh, Baker. I was just talking about him. We're back up 4-3. I have entered a few games that I haven't shown, and I have to say that every now and then, Bubic really does seem to just fall apart. So the home run ball can get him a little bit. He can kind of let some innings snowball, but I still believe in his stats and his abilities, although the bases are loaded now in the fourth. And guess who? It's Grisham again. Probably the most nonchalant player in the major leagues is Trent Grisham. Here's the 2-2 pitch. This time he's going to fly out. Is that going to be deep enough to score a run? Throw to shortstop, Miller to the plate, and it's not in time. We do have some good pitching prospects that have some high potential. I think a couple of them have A potential, so maybe one of them could surpass Bubic someday, but I still think it's going to be hard pressed for him to be able to be overtaken by somebody. A's open it up here with 3 in the 8th, and we're now down 8-5. Not loving our chances. Last chance for us, down 1, top 9 with Vesia the closer in. Baker making Vesia work here. Full count. Here's the payoff pitch. And he swings and misses. The A's defeat us in Game 1 of the year. A much more admirable effort for us there, as we do end up losing that series to the A's before taking on the Rays here, and we lose that series as well, but we win 2 against Milwaukee. It's a 4-5 start. I feel like that is how I start every season in every video. If there's any storylines going on, I might enter some games this year or try to catch some comebacks. We'll see how the team is performing. Based on what we have in the farm system now and what we could really use, I mean, we can always fill in free agency, but I really want to find a very good center fielder or potentially a very good catcher to fill in after Jeffers. This guy right here is probably generational Willie Page. Let's get him on the board. I might be getting exactly what I'm looking for. And we pick at number 2, so this time there's only one person in front of us that could potentially take him from us. Facing some division opponents right away here, we've got a 4-game series against the Yankees. We've lost the first 2, and we only end up catching 1 win. That is not great. And I'm essentially certain that Page is going to be generational, so I'm actually not even going to finish his profile until maybe at the very end, but I'm ready to start looking at some other guys. I didn't have to forfeit a pick this year, which is nice. So we do get that 41st pick, that second-round pick. Not loving things here in the early going. We are taking a lot of losses, but we do manage to come back and sweep the A's after they destroyed us in that opening series. Actually, a really solid week to start out May. We're still 6.5 games out, though. I mean, it's early, but kind of a slow start. Not a slow start for Vladdy. He's doing great, but I'm a little worried. Is this regression that I'm seeing, or is he just losing a little bit of stats here? I'm not sure, but he's playing great. I'm just a little concerned. Great news is I just found a really interesting gem here out in center field. Look at the defense and speed, but the plate skills are really weirdly bad. I still would be happy to take him, but just a strange profile. And I also scouted Ricky Bett towards the top of the list here, and he does have some power and pretty good defense at third. So I've got plenty of options in the first round if I'm not able to get our generational talent, Willie Page. All right, we are up to 500 heading into a 4-game series against Tampa Bay, and why did I get excited or lose it again? At least we briefly got back to all square. We're still 5.5 games out. This time it's the Red Sox in front. Our offense is at least a little bit better here, 21st now with 212. Vladdy still leading the way. Baker, Newt Barr right behind him. We're pretty good at getting on base in 11th, but we're very bad with our power and our slugging. Pitching is in the top half of the league, and I see that Ranger Suarez has started to heat up. He's got his ERA down below 4 now. So I do feel like we can get to 500 pretty reasonably. And I found another gem having some success here in the early going. Right fielder Michael Herman out of Mexico. Incredible plate skills. There we go. A good week to start April. We're finally above 500. 34 and 32. Still in 4th though. But like I've been saying, we're right there. Lars has been very good in the leadoff spot for us so far this year. He's getting on base at a 3.73 clip. And he's slugging a little bit too. Vladdy's still playing great, but unfortunately, I am pretty sure that he's regressing. I think it's just too hard to deny those -1s across the board there. So in my mind, that makes it even more urgent to start winning as soon as possible. Our Discovery Scout just came up huge again in the outfield, this time the 2nd and 13th ranked players in the class. I'm hoping one of these guys is good because the last time this happened to us, both of them fell quite a bit down the board. I can come back around and finish Woodrow Dunning's profile. No worries about that. We need to get Jerome Cruz scouted as soon as possible. And I think we need to fire our Discovery Scout and get another position player scout so we can make sure we scout everybody that I want. We just cannot break away from 500 here. I don't know what is going on. At least we did get back to 500, but bad news. Both of these guys have fallen down the board again. My scout is getting my hopes up and then letting me down majorly. Was it the Rockies or the White Sox that screwed me last time? I want to say it was the White Sox, but we only have to wait one pick this time, and we could get a generational talent, center fielder Willie Page. I really want this guy. If we can't get him, I think the most fun and the next best pick is this power-hitting 19-year-old third baseman, Ricky Brett. In the second round, we've got some other options, too. We've got this really unique center fielder, Newton Clark. We've got second baseman Art Myers, Michael Herman. I could even maybe get a little later. And then I've got Walter Amasa, a couple later guys, too, that I'm not completely sold on, but they're on the board. And then we've got some pitchers, as always, with really only one good discovery one, Jason Quinones. All right, here we go. Rockies, I've saved you before. Do not do it to me. Yes. Willie, don't call me William, Page has been secured. We have finally got an elite prospect on this team with the second overall pick. Willie Page, welcome to the Blue Jays. It would be hilarious if I got this completely wrong, but I don't think so. He is 19 as opposed to 18, which is a little bit rarer, but I'm still feeling pretty good. And Newton Clark gets taken 21st. It is amazing the CPU sometimes. I'm glad that the CPU is good at scouting because it's got to be a challenge. They also got Art Myers, so losing out on quite a few guys that I would have liked in our second round. I think I want to just pray that Quinones is going to fall to the next round and go ahead and take Herman so they don't get sniped again by the CPU. This guy is going to have a potential. It could be 95 or more. We are loading up our outfield. That was probably not the play. Quinones off the board. A non-discovery guy, though, Carlton Lake, who looks pretty good, is still here. He's probably going to have like 85 potential or so, 66 overall, something like that. I feel like he's pretty solid, and I'm kind of surprised I'm able to get him here. This is going to be an uncharacteristic pick here for me. I found a 21-year-old later round gem here, Bruno Villarreal. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I think he looks pretty good. And hopefully he comes in towards the top of his range and is relatively close to the show. I'm not really seeing anybody I like or anybody that I feel better about than Woodrow Dunning. I don't think he's going to be that great, but let's get our first catcher in the farm system. Why not? And I don't have anybody that good left in between these two Discovery starters. That's all I've got. I'm not sure which one I like better, but I did fully scout Juan Guzman. He's left-handed. Let's go Guzman. Chris Bubich, all-star. That is what I'm talking about. Our ace is at a 2.54 ERA. He is playing the way that I hoped he would, even a little bit better. That is massive for us. Vladdy Jr. is also an all-star once again. That is 3 in a row, all 3 years of this video. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, he is regressing, but he's hitting so well that he's actually still adding some contact and a little bit of power. He's got a 1.015 OPS. He is really just full superstar status right here. Finally, Willie Castro is improving and at a pretty good rate. So he's up to 73 overall. He's only got 1 negative in speed. Definitely a leap forward from last year. Quite a bit. OPS 100 points higher. What's his WAR at right now? All right, at least he's positive. He was not good for us last year. Besides Bubich, Spires, Beck, and Ranger Suarez are all under 4 ERAs. And the good thing is Suarez was definitely not regressing. Now I'm like thinking to myself, I should have given him 3 years, but we'll take it if he can give us some solid innings over this year and the next. Hopefully next year he can be part of a playoff team. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but he just got signed in real life by the Red Sox on the day that I'm recording this. The bullpen's been just fine. We might need to add somebody here, but it is a very good thing that we've got some really promising arms in the pen in our farm system. Things haven't gone the way I've hoped so far, but with some guys locked down now and all of these really good prospects working through our farm system, things are looking up. All right, 5 games under 500 now. Definitely not happening this year, but what might be happening is Willie Page generational. 3, 2, 1. He is. Once you figure out the formula to how these guys look, you can spot them pretty quickly, and this always makes a video way more exciting, in my opinion, when you've got a 99 potential player on the squad. And not only that, he plays a cornerstone position out in center field where we don't really have anybody right now. So Page might just come up next year. Typically, I like to give 1 year in the minors, though, but we'll just have to see how the roster is coming together. The good drafting does not stop with Willie Page, though. I think I said during the draft that Michael Herman might have like 95 potential, and that is exactly what he has. He looks a lot like the shortstop we have in our farm system right now. The defense is not great, but the plate skills are so good, and the potential is awesome. I did get 2 starters. Carlton Lake was the best one that I got. I think he's okay. 61 overall, 82 potential here. Good walks per 9, pretty solid. Juan Guzman is 79 potential. I knew he wasn't going to be anything too special, but I mean, frankly, left-handed, good clutch. He actually might be okay. Bruno Villarreal is just really unlike the types of guys that I normally scout. An older gem who did not have like guaranteed high potential, but the profile looked good and it worked out great. He should be able to work through the farm system pretty quickly with those plate skills. Another really good draft headlined by Willie Page. Let's sim to the end of this season. I'm getting more and more excited about this video as it goes on. If you are one of the few that has made it to this point in the video, I want to personally thank you. I also want to give you a firm handshake. I've been having a lot of fun putting these videos together, and I'm trying to do some things that no one's really ever done in this little niche of ours here. I am still trying to get to 1,000 subs before MLB The Show 26, setting a lofty goal. So if you haven't subscribed, which I think like over 70% of people who watch the videos are not subscribed, please consider doing that. All right, that's enough for Sappy Minute. Thank you for your support. Back to the video. Okay, 72 and 90. This is where I thought we were going to be last year. I don't know. Do I always do this? You got to tell me. Am I always just overestimating us? Just felt like we would get to 500. We weren't even close, and we were 21 games behind the Red Sox, who ended up with 93 wins. The rest of the division is pretty wide open. Let's see what the wild card's looking like. So wild card took 85 wins. So it's not like that is impossible by any means. There's nobody really absolutely dominating, at least in the AL. Looks like we do have an award here. Let me see what this is. Batting title for Vladdy Jr. Okay, very good. He came in second for the MVP. I wanted this to be a surprise. And yeah, he got close. Lost to Corey Seager, who had 51 home runs. This may be the best year we get from Vladdy. He should hold on for some more seasons, but it just seems like in this game, sometimes players just regress too early for no reason. And apparently, Vladdy is going to be part of that. And this goes back to the beginning of the video when I said that this expensive contract could become a challenge if he starts to regress a bunch. The awards page is really filling out. He's had 7 straight All-Star appearances here, and whenever there's a scroll bar on the right side, you know this is a good player. And of course, the Rookie of the Year went to the generational talent that we missed out on last season, Ruben Arellano. We have got our own gen talent on the way, so I'm not too worried about it now. Outside of him, we had a few guys above 700 OPS. Actually, we had 5 guys above a 700, so the floor is getting much higher between Nootbaar, Baker, Bierling, Jeffers, and Castro, who had by far his best season. He ended up crushing lefties this year. Bubic came back to earth just a little bit with a 3.20 ERA, but 191 innings, 193 Ks, just really solid. Nobody was super bad here, but at the same time, nobody was really great. 2027 World Series goes to the Guardians. We are finally in the spot where a lot of our prospects will probably come up at some point this year. I don't know how many are going to start on the roster. I don't know if Willie Page is going to start on the roster. I like to give these guys just a little bit of time in the minors, but there's so many other guys that are close, like Danny Emery at short. He's going to be in AAA. We've also got, let's see here, John Curson over at first. He will almost certainly be up this year. Closer Brian Burke is extremely close to making his way to the show. Just need a little bit more homers per 9, maybe if he can get above 50 at some point in AAA. And our starter from the first draft, Abraham Escalona, is in AAA, and he is very close as well. So the reinforcements are coming. I don't have a ton of money to play with right now. We've got 22 mil in ARB and renewable estimates, 68 million available. So I've got about 50 million or so, and I want to try to make some kind of good move here in free agency to help us out. I think on the pitching side, Dean Kramer is our guy here. He wants 2 years, 22 million, should be pretty solid, and he could definitely upgrade the rotation for us. I also think it's time to make a little bit of a splash in the reliever market because we need to get somebody in here that we can rely on the backside of the rotation, especially a lefty. And I think that Angel Zerpa is my guy. I signed him in another one-man only, I think, and he didn't do too well, but he's only 28, and I want to give him a multi-year deal. And the position player I'm looking at is Michael Massey because he is still 29 years old with B potential and room for growth. Looks pretty solid. I don't think I've signed him before. He's only asking for 2 years and 10, and I think I'll probably give him like 3 years. All of these guys fit in really nicely for us with some of the prospects we have coming up and our depth chart looking ahead. Contracts are out for everybody. 2 years for Kramer, 3 for Zerpa, and 3 for Massey. Our window is opening up right now. So these guys are going to be key pieces of our success over the next couple of seasons. And there is Dean Kramer. Okay, actual last chance at a high pick here. We are not, I don't think we're going to be under 500 for the rest of this video. At least I really hope not. That means something went very wrong. And we got pick 1. No way. Oh, that is incredible. Massey, welcome to the team. I lowballed him like crazy. Same thing with Zerpa, as low as I could go. Welcome to the team. I just noticed something about a starter we drafted, I guess, last year. Look at Guzman's hitting stats. He could actually hit a little bit, but he's not a two-way player, so I don't think I can put him in the lineup. All right, here's the lineup. We've just got one new guy, Michael Massey. I moved some things around a little bit, just keeps getting that little bit better every season, and we have got some great prospects on the way up. And yes, I do have an infielder on the bench. It's Mitch Jebb. He can play everywhere except for first. I have a good amount of belief in this rotation with Dean Kramer coming in there in the second spot. Bubic and Suarez are 2 lefties, and then Beck and Spires are Rule 5 guys going back to, I believe, the very first season. Yep. And I actually did retool the bullpen quite a bit here, bringing in Colby Allard, Ben Joyce, who I'm going to give a shot as our closer, and then also Angel Zerpa. I've mentioned I've got my eyes on some prospects coming up this year, but nobody more so than Willie Page, who is going to be batting leadoff in Double-A, hoping to climb through multiple ranks up to the majors this season. All right, let's get this season going. I think we're going to be a playoff team. Hopefully we can get off to a hot start. We face LA right away here and win Game 1, lose Game 2, and end up winning this series. But as it always seems to go, it's a 3-5 start and we're in last. That's not going to last for long. And how about us getting that first overall pick? I don't get lucky like that too often, although I did get lucky in the Soto video as well. Goes without saying that that is a very important pick for us, so I might scout a handful of guys here at the top to make sure that we're getting somebody that we really believe in. I'm a big fan of this shortstop here with some contact, power, and speed. Looks like a good athlete. I also like this catcher as well, who, if he is as anywhere near as good as he looks, he's going to be incredible. But let's start by just scouting this number 1 player in the class because he's probably too good to be true, but 23 years old, I can scout him in 1 week, and he kind of looks insane. A decent second week gets us back to 500 at 7-7, and let's check this guy out. He's still ranked second, and he does look pretty good, and he could help us right away in the outfield. Definitely an intriguing pick, but let's go take a look at these other guys because they might have some higher potential, and I do think Caruso could be really good. We'll see. Okay, he looks pretty good. I scouted him for 2 weeks here. Good defense and speed, great plate skills. It's going to be a tough call, honestly. Suzuki can help us immediately, but Caruso's probably a little bit higher potential, slightly longer-term pick. We've got a lot of division games here. We just won a series against Boston. Now we're going into New York, and it's not looking too good for us. We end up getting swept. Now we head into Baltimore, and we lose 1 of 2 games there. We're 5 games under 500. It's such a funny game. You go get your free agent, and he's got the worst ERA on the team at a 6 early in the season, and the 2 guys you get from the Rule 5 have been your best pitchers. We're on the cusp of something. Things are going to turn around soon. I can feel it as there's a good week for us. We just won all 6 games, and now we vaulted up to 1 game above 500. After that good week, we've had back-to-back bad weeks in the middle of May, and we're back down to 3 games under 500. I can't tell if we're going to make a run or not. Last game of the series here, we've got newcomer Michael Massey at the plate trying to defeat the Royals, but we're down 1, bottom of the 10th with 1 out here. Garrett Clevenger, a very solid lefty, he's got him down 0-2 pretty quickly here. That's softly hit towards the line and left, and the catch is made. Is that Yelich over there? Clevenger comes out as Willie Castro's coming to the plate. Still in the same spot here, but just with 2 outs now. Crowd is frustrated, on their feet as we're down to our final strike here, and here's the pitch. Softly hit into center, and that's flown out. Both of the guys we saw trying to come back there are 2 of our worst hitters so far this year. It is not going well with Massey. He's especially struggling against lefties. He's got a 541 OPS, and Castro is not much better with a 551, not to mention Lars Nootbaar with a 602. Vladdy's been just fine. Vierling and Baker have been okay as well. Our breakout this year is actually Jahan, who's hitting mostly against lefties and doing very well. 1, 2, 3, 4 OPS. As we continue to struggle offensively, I look down in the minors once again, and Willie Page is a 9.74 OPS in AA. It's time to get him to AAA. He's getting close. I'm hoping that John Curson could join him as well. He's got a 744 OPS in AAA right now. Still would like to see a little more. Meanwhile, I found another potential mid-round play here with Marcus Machado, Manny's brother from New York, though. Looks pretty solid. We'll see. Could be a good pick. The first guy that's going to come up to the show is actually going to be this closer, Brian Burke. He's having a nice season in AAA, and we're down a guy in the bullpen, so he's going to be making his debut here. Cordova from the same draft class is not far behind him. He's doing great in AA, so I'm going to move him up to AAA now and get him in the queue. Our long and middle relief has been an issue, so hopefully Brian Burke can just come right into the majors and make a difference for us. Starting to feel for our captain, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in this video. As the GM in the front office, all the moves have not really worked out so far for this team. Not to mention other rosters in the division continue to get better, especially the Red Sox, who have added both Yordan Alvarez and Bryce Terang. They are way out in front of the division while we continue to be bottom feeders. I found a new leader in the clubhouse for our second-round pick here, Julio Raimo at second base. Just as I always say, when they move up this much, it's hard to get them. The CPU usually will take them, and I think we pick at 42. And meanwhile, I haven't found a single good discovery option for us, so the board might be kind of light on the position player side. Maybe a smart play here is to scout both of my first-round frontrunners again for another week, even though their profiles are at 100%, just so I can at least feel like I picked the best guy here at the top. It's between who I just had on the board there and this shortstop Elmer Caruso, who is definitely my favorite right now. But I need to see if Suzuki is a guy that can just come right up to the show and really be valuable. It's a tough call. I think I answered my question just by scouting Suzuki for one more week. He's fallen further down the board, and that leads me to believe that the shortstop is our best bet, Caruso. The question is, do I swerve and take Emmett Pepper because he might have 99 potential as a starter and he looks really good, although the farm system is pretty solid on the pitching side right now. First good sign in a while is that we win this series against Boston with Ben Joyce coming away with a couple of very close saves. We get 3 out of 4, and obviously I mentioned they're really good, so I guess that's promising. We're one game over 500 as we now step into the MLB draft, and I ended up with 5 position players on the board. I do like all 5 of them, and my first round pick is going to be Elmer Caruso, the shortstop, and he profiles as a true shortstop with that defense and speed. He's going to have great range, and he has really nice plate skills. If either David Feliz or Julio Raimo are available in the second round, that will be my choice. 2 more middle infield options that both moved up the board a lot and should have high A potential. I decided I don't want to take Emmett Pepper in that first round. He is on my board if somehow there's a small chance that he falls to our 42nd pick. He won't, but I want to have him there just in case. I do have one good discovery starter for later, Robert Fry, who if he's on the board looks really solid and he could start pretty soon in the majors, high floor. Plenty of other starting pitcher options, and then the last guy is a discovery closer who I could take late as well. I got very lucky and got the first overall pick here, and my choice is going to be Elmer Caruso. Caruso, welcome to the Blue Jays. No luck after that. Feliz got taken here at number 7, and then Raimo got taken at 22. Emmett Pepper did fall quite a bit to 26, but we're not able to get him either. Oh, and the discovery guy, Robert Fry, he went 6th overall, so my board has been destroyed. I'm going to hope for Manny's younger brother in maybe round 3, but I think my best play here is to take starting pitcher Scott Galindo. He's not discovery, looks to have good walks per 9 and high potential. That's going to be my second round choice. Machado is here for pick number 83. He can play first as well as left field. This feels like a no-brainer for me. And as I sim ahead to my next pick, everybody except the closer is gone. This happens to me a little bit too often, but I think I want to take another guy that I didn't scout here, right fielder Ashton Melendez. Let's just take a stab in the dark here with this pick. For 143, I do want to get this closer, Avery Bass. He's going to be a little bit more of a project, but he should have very high potential. He started at like 150th ranked and moved up to 56th. And with the final pick, I'm going to take our best discovery starter left on the board here, Chet Leonard. We've gotten on the good side of 500, but we could get even a little bit better with the bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. At the plate is this guy, Luke Baker, who has C potential, Rule 5 guy from the very first year. Look at how his hitting stats have developed, and he is having his best season. He is over 4 today, but can he find a clutch hit here to keep our momentum going? Ground ball to shortstop. Not this time. We do go to extras, though, and Ben Joyce has been really good as our closer. He's coming in here trying to keep things tied up. He's walked the first 2 batters and gives up the lead. We do have 2 on and nobody out with the winning run at the plate. Ryan Jeffers bunts that foul. He's going to go for another bunt, and this time he gets it down, but it's going to turn into a double play. Nope. All right, he's safe at first. I spoke too soon. That doesn't help us a whole lot because the double play is still in order here with 1 out as Vierling flies out into right. It might bring home a run. Throw is cut off, and the runner did not go from third. In steps one of our most disappointing free agents of this video, Willie Castro. We're down to our final strike. Here's the pitch from Koenig, and that's right down the middle, strike 3. Just one All-Star this year, and it's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who is just at the very back end of his prime. He's hanging on okay here. 961 OPS, the exact same as last year. He's been really good throughout this video, just hasn't had a whole lot of a team around him. Even though we're at 500, we are in last in the division. The AL East is tough right now. I would love to extend Ranger Suarez, but I think that's against the spirit of this video because he was one of our free agents. I just feel like that doesn't make sense. I don't mind extending guys that I picked up like in the Rule 5, for example, maybe a Ben Joyce, but going on and extending a free agent just feels like kind of signing another, a 4th free agent within a year. So this is going to be it for him, and I really wish that we had a better year while he was on this roster. He's really solid. The additional challenge with the 1-man only is that this is a perfect time to trade him because we're probably not going to make the playoffs, but I obviously cannot do that. All of our prospects have to come from the amateur draft, and I do think we did get some pretty good guys in that last draft. Somehow we've done it again. We just swept the Red Sox here who were in first place, so we do seem to be able to take them down. They're leading the division, and there's still so many teams in front of us for the wild card, though, so that doesn't help us out too much. What should help us out, though, is these new draft picks. I feel pretty good about it. Let's see how we did here, starting with Elmer Caruso, 90 potential at 67 overall. Very solid. He looks great and should move up the minors pretty quickly with those plate skills. The defense and speed are solid. Really good player. I managed to get even higher potential in the second round with Scott Galindo, who's 62 overall and 94 potential. Very solid looking starter. This worked out great for me. My next 2 picks are pretty big projects. Machado, 51 overall with 88 potential. He's only 18 though, so plenty of time to develop. He does look okay outside of the defense. And Ashton Melendez was the guy I didn't scout. I'd say this is probably a miss because he's only 48 overall. I'm glad I took this closer, Avery Bass. I think I mentioned that he was Discovery and moved up the board a lot. Just looks solid. He should develop into something. And my last pick here is the last Discovery starter I had on the board. And for 79 potential, he actually looks okay. This draft is really about Caruso and Galindo at the end of the day, and I'm very happy with those 2 picks. This is Emmett Pepper, the starter who was the number 1 player on my board, and he does look good at 66 overall with 95 potential. And frankly, this was a really, really strong draft class. A lot of the CPU teams got some very high potential players. I did fine for myself as well, but this is one of the stronger draft classes I've seen in a while. I mean, look at all this high potential as I scroll through. As we arrive at September call-ups, we have shown some improvement, now 6 games above 500, but we're still quite a bit out of the wild card here. We're currently 5 games out of that last spot. It's time to give at least one of the young guys an opportunity here, and it's going to be starting pitcher Abraham Escalona. He's had a pretty good year in AAA, and I want to see a little bit of what he's got before he's hopefully on the Major League roster on opening day next year. I would love to say that I'm promoting our generational center fielder Willie Page as well, but a 734 OPS in AAA is not good enough quite yet. Final tally, 82 wins. Obviously our best season, first time over 500, but we still were quite a ways away from the playoffs. We finished right at the middle of the pack, 15th in runs scored. So we improved throughout the year, still nothing special offensively. But we don't have a whole lot of punch in this lineup. We're ranked 19th in slugging with Vladdy carrying a lot of the weight there. What is exciting is that our ERA was 3rd this year at 3.63, only a little bit behind the Dodgers and the Padres who were 1 and 2. Everyone in the rotation had an ERA under 4. Even Kramer, who started out really poorly, he finished with a 3.84. So hopefully he's got a good season in him next year, the last year of his deal. Escalona unfortunately struggled in his brief stint in the majors, so I'm 50-50 about bringing him up again next year. We'll have to see how things shake out. He does have the hits per 9 and walks per 9 to be at least okay at this point. Our free agent lefty Zerpa was our best relief pitcher with a 2.64 ERA in 81 innings. Very solid, and I've got him for 2 more seasons at only $3.4 million. Our lowest ERA in the pen overall, though, was our rookie closer Brian Burke with a 1.7. I brought him up way earlier in this year. Phenomenal improvement, elite hits per 9, 68 innings with a 1.7 ERA. He might have earned himself a closing spot, although the home runs per 9, great improvement this year, might not be good enough to close just yet. Vladdy was once again our best overall everyday player on the offensive side. Another year with a 950 OPS, just really solid year after year so far, and I can't figure out if he's regressing or not. Obviously, the hitting stats went down, even though he had a good year, but the defense didn't change at all, so I'm not really sure. Baker and Vierling were also above 800. After that, though, it falls off very hard, and a lot of the free agents I've signed are down here. Jeffers, Nootbaar, Massey, and even further down, our worst hitter was Willie Castro. 82 and 80 is a nice improvement as the Yankees take down the Dodgers in 2028, but we've still not gotten ourselves to the playoffs yet. Next year is going to be the year. We have steadily improved every single season, and I think we're finally in the spot with the farm system and the guys currently on the roster to take the big leap. I think the move in free agency this offseason is to continue to add to our pitching depth, and we've got so many young guys on the way up that I don't really want to block anybody. So I'm looking at a couple guys. I'm looking at Emmett Sheehan, who's had a couple of very good years. He's asking for 4 years, 25. I want to throw him on the board. And then I also want to throw another guy on the board, and that's the librarian here, Matthew Liberator. We've still got Bubic for a while, but this is the last year of having Dean Kramer because I only signed him for 2 seasons. I want Escalona to come up and pitch this year, but I'm not sure he's ready. So we're going to test him out in spring. And after that, though, most of the guys are still a little ways away. Vizcaino doesn't have the hits per 9 and walks per 9. McKenna still working on his clutch and rounding him out a little bit as well. Rivera looks pretty good, but he's a couple years away. Our ERA has been fine, but I'm looking to make our rotation just stronger as a whole. I've been leaning on a guy like Carson Spires, who has been pretty good for the most part, but he's asking for $8 million in arbitration this year, and I think I'd rather just put that towards a bigger, higher quality free agent. And maybe to your surprise, I'm also not going to be offering a deal to Luken Baker, who has been probably the best Rule 5 pickup of this video, especially last season. However, he looks a lot like our next guy up here, Josh Curson, who is going to come up this year, our first rounder from 2025. The stats look about the same, and Curson's going to DH. So seeing that Baker was able to get an over 800 OPS in the show, I'm pretty confident that Curson could do the same and then ultimately be a hell of a lot better as he develops. Our division continues to make big moves. We are in the AL East after all, and Jackson Merrill is going to the Yankees. This is a guy that I never get to sign because I always feel like he starts regressing too early. The Yankees are betting on him for 8 years, so we'll see how that works out for him. The Rays decided to up their game in the bullpen. Edwin Diaz is going over to Tampa. I don't think the Red Sox have made any big moves yet, but they continue to be pretty loaded up here. And I don't think I've shown the Orioles at any point. Here's a look at their roster with Jay Ram, Mackenzie Gore, Framber Valdez, and of course Pete Alonso. It is a gauntlet in this division as always, so we've got to continue to make some good moves here to compete with those guys. It looks like Sheehan and Liberator are going to be right in our range. The pitching help is not going to stop with just those guys. I also want to bring in another relief pitcher for the back end of the bullpen, and I'm looking at Orion Kerkering. We've got a few holes in the rotation right now, so definitely need to get an arm in here. Burke is going to be a big factor. He was our rookie last season. He's going to be probably in middle relief for right now. And then I'm still anticipating the call-up of Sam Cordova from 2024, the draft mate of Brian Burke. He'll be here soon. I don't know if he's going to be here this year, but maybe next. Willie Page is going to get an opportunity in spring to prove himself out there. He's not going to play center field, but he's going to be playing one of the corners. So we'll come back around when we get to spring training to see how he does. I do have other options if he does not play. A massive deal just went down. Do you remember Ruben Arellano? Not sure how to pronounce it. This was the generational player that got sniped from me by the White Sox. He just got traded. You really never see this. Package includes an A potential shortstop who looks very good. Undrafted. Oh, Walcott. Okay, I think he's a prospect in real life. Santos, a starter. Yep, pretty good. And then Paulino Santana. 3 undrafted guys going for Ruben here. And the Rangers are not done there. They just signed Paul Skeens, the #1 free agent. It's time to start making our moves now and sign all three of these guys, especially Kerkering, because Philly is interested in him, and I think I already mentioned this before in this video, but the team who just had the player has a pretty big advantage at signing this player again. So with that in mind, I'm going to go up to 3 years and bump him up to about, let's go 8.5 here and get our hat in the ring right away. All right, Liberator. He is joining our roster 4 years, 16.61. And Kerkering, this is going to be a tough one. He's going to the Braves. 1 year? This makes no sense. I offered him 3 years and 8.5, and he's going to the Braves, who he was not on before for 1 year. They lowballed him. And Brian Wu is going to the Orioles. This is just getting tougher and tougher. Now, I think my move in the bullpen now is to go for Manrod here. Manuel Rodriguez, very good pitcher. He's hurt in real life for the Rays, but I like him a lot. I don't think I've signed him before, and he's just very well-rounded, and so that'll be our next target. And at this point, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot that can help me in the Rule 5, but I'm always going to take a look just in case. Actually, there is one move I could make. I could get a better backup catcher. I do like Elizer Alfonso. He's kind of my go-to with that defense. But he is starting to get into arbitration, and I see that Jacob Cozart has beat potential. Looks pretty good, just more upside and 3 years younger. So I think this is a good play for us for the next 2 to 3 years. All right, Emmett Sheehan, up to 80% motivation here, and there we go. 3 years, 18.5. That is very favorable for us. How's this for a rotation right here? Bubic, Liberator, Kramer, Sheehan, and Beck from the Rule 5, who had a breakout last year. It's going to be between him and Escalona for that last spot, and I'm probably leaning towards Beck, but Escalona's up to 25 years old. He's got to start showing something. And we got our 1 year rental here in setup for Manuel Rodriguez. I'm liking the bullpen quite a bit too. I've kind of filtered out I separated the wheat from the chaff, let's say, throughout this video, and these are the guys that we're rocking with right now. I think Manny might actually close ahead of Ben Joyce, who is a little bit more volatile and blew 8 saves last season. He had 10 losses. He's got the biggest question marks, but Zerpa, Burke, Brule, and Kranick should all be solid. It is spring training, and funny enough, Edward Cabrera's on the mound for the Yankees right now. There's a swing from Matt Vierling. That's through the hole. We are absolutely smoking Edward Cabrera right now. It's already 4-0. But the reason I'm here is because of this man, Willie Page. He's got his opportunity here before the season starts to find himself on the opening day roster. That's a good swing, but it's going to be a double play. Curson was on first. We know that Page has the talent, but is he ready to translate it at the major league level? That is the question. Even if he doesn't perform well in the first game of spring training, Page is still going to get the entire spring as his opportunity. So we'll see what his stats look like when it's all said and done. So far has not quite been too impactful today, even though we're up 7-0. Runner on first, nobody out, bottom of the 6th here, and Page strikes out. That's 2 today. Of course, it's going to take a little while to adjust to the quality of pitching talent, velocity, pitch shapes that you will see in the major leagues. And Page strikes out for a 3rd time today. We did dominate the Yankees in that game, but Page did not do a whole lot, so we'll have to see how he does during the rest of this month. Okay, safe to say that Willie Page is going to be making the roster. 1. OPS on the dot, by the way. He had 24 RBI up there with Vladdy, 6 home runs. So my doubts are all cleared up here. Our Gen talent will be there for opening day. Escalona is going to make the roster too, but he is going to be in long relief. Beck pitched better than him in spring training, so he's maintaining his spot in the rotation here. He's been pretty solid. So this is our bullpen and our rotation. I am feeling pretty good about things this year. We're getting right after it here. We've got the Dodgers on opening day of 2029, I believe it is. They are the best team in the league with 100 wins last year, so let's see how we stack up here. Some time has passed from when I started recording this video, and in real life, the Dodgers did sign Kyle Tucker to an absurd deal that broke all kinds of records. I can't remember exactly, but I think I said earlier in this video that he might sign with Philly, and I believe he did sign with Philly as Nootbaar to open the year hits that one over the wall. Nootbaar's going to be riding the bench against lefties this year, but against righties, and that was Yamamoto, by the way, against righties, he's still pretty solid with great plate discipline as well, but this time he shows some power. Going back to what I was saying, though, Tucker, I believe, signed with the Phillies in this video, which I thought was a pretty good chance that would happen in real life, too, or our very Blue Jays. Any Toronto fans, you got to tell me how you feel about this if you're still watching, because I was surprised, and it seems like they made him a good offer as Vladdy goes down swinging. Heater got by him. I'm sure they gave him a good offer, a longer-term offer. Here's our rookie Josh Curson in the 4-hole, and he decided to go to the Dodgers. I mean, they have unlimited money. The Rogers group has a lot of money, too. Curson flies out into left to start his career, first at bat. And here is the superstar Willie Page, first career at bat. I say superstar, budding superstar. He's still got to prove it in the majors, but if he does, gonna have a great shot at a Rookie of the Year this season. Pretty good at bat here, worked himself into a full count. Yamamoto delivers, and he got him. Good pitch. I still believe in Massey, but if he struggles again, I'm just going to look towards our farm system to help out at this point. We are in go mode. Here's a 2-2 right down the middle. Stay fair. Just foul. After that foul, he will see another 3-2. Here we go. Ball 4. Bases loaded. Ryan Jeffers, what do you got? At this point, he is one of our veterans, one of our OGs. Last year of his contract. 3-1 pitch. Right down the middle. Jeffers. Grand slam. See ya. No doubt about it right there. How about that? Our new closer, Manrod's coming in. Trying to shut it down here. He's got to take down Shohei Ohtani. Jeffers puts us out in front with the grand slam. Rodriguez. Ground ball. Shohei. Diving play not made. Massey has pretty good defense, but not able to help out his pitcher there. And look at this. Shohei and Vladdy catching up. I don't know if I've seen that animation. Anyway, we got to face Torque now. Tying run. Here's a 1-2. Ground ball. Second base. This time, Massey makes the play. And we have a comeback victory. Defeated the Dodgers on opening day. It's a miracle. A team that I rebuilt has a good start. 5-3 out of the gate. We're down at 17 now this year, so I'm not going to be able to get any of these super high-level talents, but we should still be able to do okay and just continue to stack good prospects in the farm system. Although he has not gotten a lot of innings, Abraham Escalona has been in long relief, and it's not gone too well. So I want to send him back down to AAA for now and just let him continue to work on his game. He's going to be a big part of this team soon enough, but he's not there just yet. I want to give this relief pitcher Thomas Seibel a shot in the show. We've had him since the very beginning of this video, and I've just been waiting for his hits per nine and his clutch to get a little bit better. I think he's finally there. Let's see how it goes. Give him a shot here. We just swept New York here. They are really struggling, and that was part of us winning 5 in a row. The Yankees are in last place at 27-45. That is very surprising. We are comfortably in first place, 8 games ahead of the Red Sox. The second place team keeps kind of bouncing around. You know, in my draft-only rebuild where I couldn't scout, I did learn something. A couple things, but I'm less afraid to scout relievers now, especially when I find somebody like this guy who has high stamina, high hits per nine, and high walks per nine with zeros in his profile. So I'm more confident in looking at relievers, and I'm willing to scout this guy. I normally would never spend time scouting a reliever like this. I'm usually looking at discovery type of guys, but I feel like this is the type of guy who could be a starter. Bottom 12, bases loaded, 2 outs. Willie Page at the plate. He is 0 for 5 today. Can he come up clutch here? He has had a pretty nice first year here with 13 home runs, 40 RBI, and an 818 OPS, but he has struggled with runners in scoring position. This is an opportunity to really make a name for himself and come up clutch in front of a home crowd. He's down to his final strike. Here's the pitch. Got him. That would have been a fun one, but the Mariners take this game from us. Do not let that take away from the fact that he is leading for Rookie of the Year right now. And in second place is Josh Curson, having a little bit more mixed results, though. Sub 700 OPS in the DH spot, so not as great of a start for him, but Page is doing well. The most impressive guy on this team right now is probably our closer, Manuel Rodriguez, who has a 1.24 ERA with 34 saves. He is leading for Rookie of the Year right now. And remember, this was my backup plan for Kerkering. His potential, Rodriguez, has gone up to B. He's just unbelievable so far. And don't let me forget to mention the librarian here, who is in second place for the Cy Young. 9-3 in his decisions. Does look like there could be some regression here, though, and we've got him for 4 years, so we'll have to see. But anyway, this season he's been excellent. Unfortunately, the Mariners come away with a sweep against us here. We're on a bit of a slide. We're still 17 games above 500, and they are a decent team. But they had our number as we now go on to lose 2 more against the White Sox, who are not a decent team. And with that, we've lost our solo first place in the division. We are tied with the Red Sox, and the Orioles are just 4.5 games behind. The division is starting to take shape here. There is an absolute treasure trove of pitchers available in this draft here. That is most of the top guys that I have on the board. So decent chance that I take one of these pitchers towards the top. We also do have a couple discovery guys that I like. I showed most of them. I think maybe Hoffman is one I didn't show. And by the way, this relief pitcher that I called out, he's looking pretty good. So I do want to get this guy with maybe our 4th pick. I don't know if I want to reach for the 3rd pick. I did find quite a few position players as well. I've got them all at the top of my board here. The best one is this catcher, Juan Hernandez. I don't think he'll fall to our 17th pick, but that is my number 1 choice. Well, that catcher is still here, and he does look good, but there's 2 other guys still here that I didn't expect to be here, and that is the number 1 and number 2 ranked players in the class. Louis Hansen looks phenomenal, and I did not expect him to be here. Hard for me to pass up a guy like this. With that walks per 9, the stamina, he's probably going to have a potential and be like 70 overall. We might even get a chance to see him in this video, so I'm going to pass up on Juan. We'll continue to get catchers in the free agent market. My 1st round pick here is starting pitcher Louis Hansen. Well, a lot of my 2nd round guys have been taken here, including Merle Rangel, the defensive 3rd baseman. Not going to be able to get him. I liked his name. He's from Canada, too. I just noticed that. Really, most of my mid-round position player options are kind of gone here, so I've got to see what I want to do. I don't want to take Franco or Hoyer just yet, because I'm hoping I can get them later, and same with Chet Wright. This is actually kind of a tough call. I thought about taking Franco, but I think I've settled on this discovery starter, Benitez, ranked 4 in the class, lefty, Ks per 9 guy. I just think he's the best value here, even though there's a chance that he could fall, but I don't want to risk the CPU sniping him. This pitcher, Miley, is still here. I actually think I want to take this reliever, funny enough, because I don't think he'll last to the next round. And like I said, he could be a very good starter someday, so that is going to be my choice here. Miley is still here, very good discovery starter, so I should be able to get him in the last round. I probably could get Hoyer as well, but I don't think I've taken a position player yet. I can't remember exactly, but let's get him in here. I think he's going to have high potential. And now I'm going to secure Miley here with pick number 155. Should be very good. And my only guy left is another discovery starter who actually looks fantastic, ranked 40th with walks per 9, hits per 9, and stamina. And he's a lefty. Checks all the boxes for me. Starter heavy draft, but I felt like that was the best play. Coming out of that draft, we defeat the Yankees 11-10 here. They are still in the basement. We are 56-41 and now a half game out at the break. I honestly can't believe this. Our offense is ranked 21st in runs scored. I feel like we were doing so much better than that. As is often the case for me in my rebuilds, it's really the pitching that's leading the way right now. I think the offense is going to match the pitching within a year or two once the prospects continue to develop. But these guys have just been great, and that's really where I've invested most of our free agents. Actually, 4 of the 5 guys in this rotation right now have been free agents that I've signed. 2 guys we drafted have also been good in the bullpen. Brian Burke, long-term, he's probably going to be our closer. It's just the home runs per 9 that kind of holds him back, but he's been fantastic so far. And Seibel, who I showed you I brought up, he's only got 7 innings pitched, but he's been okay so far. So that puts us at 4th in ERA here. Very, very happy with that. And with that bullpen, when we get a lead, it is very hard for teams to come back on us. This is game 2 of a 3-game series against Boston, and we won the first game, but we are all tied up in the top of the 9th with the bases loaded here. Manrod comes in and gets the ground ball. We're headed to the bottom of the 9th. We are in the bottom of the 12th now, and the bases are loaded for Willie Page. The stars are aligning here, and this is our brightest young star. Can he finally have a signature moment here at home? That is ball 4. It is a walk-off walk. I guess we'll count it. I have seen quite a few extra inning marathons in my time making these videos, so I am glad that that one just ended in the 12th. We are turning the page here to August now, and we're still 2 games up on the Red Sox in first place. Orioles are lurking there, and it's time to take a look at our draft picks. We should have some good pitching talent in here. That was pretty much all I got in this draft, so let's see how we did, and that is looking pretty good here on first glance. Our first rounder, Louis Hansen, is for sure the best pick here in this class. 91 potential, 63 overall, looks very solid. Second rounder, Benitez, is 88 potential. He is the lefty, and he does have the great Ks per 9. We'll have to see how the other stats develop. I'm glad that I took our reliever here, Gustavo Silva, because he definitely can be a starter. He's 56 overall, but with 89 potential and a great build, and he also is able to start in the minors right away. He doesn't need to be in single A at all because he's already ready with that 65 hits per nine and 56 walks per nine. The only position player I got is Charlton Hoyer out of the Netherlands here, 52 overall, 18 years old with 88 potential. He does look pretty good. He's just going to be a big project. And then the last two starters are both Discovery, and I like both of them. They also have that hits per nine and walks per nine build. Miley's stamina is a little bit low, and then Fernandez has that lower potential. He's also got kind of low stamina, but you can see a theme with the type of pitchers I like to draft here. You all know this by now. I sound like a broken record, but there are quite a few guys that I can believe in for the future here from this draft class. What the hell happened with the Mariners? They did not sign a single player, including Derek Ford, who was one of the starters that I wanted. Here's the catcher I passed up on, Juan Hernandez. He looks about exactly like I expected, but we'll be able to fill this hole in free agency, and I don't think I missed out too much. And there was another generational talent in the class here. There was no way we were going to be able to get him, but he is going to the Rays in our division, which kind of stinks. I'm happy for my favorite team in real life, but he's going to have to play against us. Finishing out August, we're in second place here behind the Red Sox. 14 games above 500. Still a decent bit in front of the Orioles, 3.5 games up there. We are the first wildcard team, so we're in a very good spot to get our first playoff run of the video. It's time to get Danny Emery up into the show. I think he's kind of stagnated a little bit in AAA. This is our shortstop who profiles a little bit more as maybe a second baseman. He's doing fine in AAA. I think he's just a little bit bored down there, so I want to get him into the MLB and give him some at-bats. He should be a little better than Michael Massey at second base against lefties. Massey is having a good year, 724 OPS, but let's get Emery in there. Castro in his last season just continuing to ride the bench as a utility guy for us. Liberator has been really, really good for us, and here he is trying to finish off a complete game shutout against the generational talent that we missed out on who got traded to the Rangers. He has quickly got him down 0-2, and here is the pitch. That's strike three on the corner, and that pitch is a great encapsulation of his game. Great command and control. And that just adds to my confidence as we continue to push towards the playoffs, although it's kind of a mixed bag here so far through September. We are taking some L's here. It's gotten a little bit closer in the wild card, and the Rangers are one of those teams in the hunt. Right now, we're still in the first spot, but only a game and a half up. The end of this season is absolutely loaded with divisional matchups, and we just lost 4 straight to Baltimore. We do bounce back with some victories against New York. Actually, it was a sweep. So we right the ship a little bit, but look at this race for the wild card. It is anybody's game right now. We have to finish strong here because our last 2 series of the year are against Boston and then Baltimore. Here we go. Game 1 versus Boston, we win. Game 2, we lose. Game 3 for the series, we end up losing it. We're still 2 games behind. We're still in front of the Orioles, though, as long as we don't get swept here. Game 1, we lose. Game 2, we win. And the last game of the year, we lose. We do make the wild card, and we'll be taking on those Rangers. So 86 and 76 final tally. We actually tied with the Rangers and the A's, only 1 game up over the Orioles and the Royals. We were on a little bit better pace, but had a cold finish to the season. We improved by 4 games over last year, but I really felt like we were going to get closer to that 90 win mark. It looks like we've got some awards here. We should have a Rookie of the Year. It is Josh Curson. He takes down Willie Page. He had a better batting average and more RBI. Page had the edge on him in home runs, but he really cooled off power-wise towards the end of the year. I feel like he had 10 or so through the first couple of months. Unfortunately, Manrod got beat out for that Reliever of the Year award. I thought he was going to get it, but Cole Winn wins back-to-back, and he is part of that Rangers team that we'll be seeing in a little bit. 51-3 for Winn. There are some other big names on that Rangers team, too. Cy Young winner Paul Skeens is their ace, but this is why I could never sign him. He always starts regressing early, and look at this deal that the Rangers gave him. Nootbaar with a massive bounce back at an 886, and Vladdy had his worst season of this video with an 846 OPS, and he is regressing more and more rapidly every year. I think going forward, he's probably going to profile as our DH because John Curson has better defense over there at first and should probably take over that position. Okay, for the playoffs, Bubic and Liberator will be our 2 lefties at the top of the rotation, with Sheehan and Beck following in the 3 and 4 spot. Bullpen is pretty much the same as the full year here. Manrod as our closer. Our lineup is about the same, with the addition against lefties here of Danny Emery, who we saw briefly during the regular season. Our first postseason run begins at home against the Rangers, who matched our record exactly. Both teams ended 86 and 76, and here we go. 3-game set, the American League wild card. Bubic is on the mound for us, and he will be facing Paul Skeens. Both of these guys had ERAs under 3 for the regular season, so very solid pitchers. Paul Skeens, obviously the Cy Young winner, he's kind of just on a different level. As I mentioned, both these teams are very, very evenly matched, so it should be a good 3-game series, as Page also goes down swinging. The rookies are facing an absolute stud on the mound today. Who is going to emerge as a big factor in this short set? Ryan Jeffers, right on cue, gets us on the board with the solo shot. So far, Bubic has been better than Skeens today, not giving up any runs, although he's not striking out as many, and he has walked a couple. Willie Page here in a 3-2. That's on the corner. He strikes out again. Regardless of how this series goes, it's going to be a great experience for Willie Page here in the postseason, as we've now got 2 on, 2 out, 1-2 pitch to Noah Miller. He's underneath that fastball, and we're not able to add on here in the bottom of the 5th. Here is a great opportunity to add on. We've got 2 on and nobody out for the bottom of the lineup here in the bottom of the 7th. Jeffers, though, flies out into center. I said it before, but the bottom of our lineup is still not very good, although Mitch Jebb at the plate here is 2 for 2 today. This is a full count pitch from Paul Skeens. He got him. That is 8 Ks here for Paul. At some point, I got to do a one-man only with him and the Pirates for sure. So now it comes down to our worst hitter but best defender, Noah Miller, in the 9-hole with 2 outs at the bottom of the 7th. That's softly hit into right. Get down. It's caught. Heading into the 8th, the bullpen gets going here, starting with Brian Burke, who immediately has a runner in scoring position against him, but he manages to get out of it. And Lars Nootbaar doubles our lead, leading off the 8th. It is 2-0. And Vladdy adds another one. It's 4-0 here in Game 1. In a non-save situation here, the lefty Sean Gunther's coming in to face a lefty Lane. 1 strike away from getting us a win in Game 1. There it is. Some late home runs propel us to a 4-0 victory. That was a lot closer than it looked for about 7 innings. So Bubic defeats Leiter in Game 1, but we're now picking up in Game 2 in the top of the 10th, 2 on and 2 outs. Manrod facing Ernie Clement, who puts down a bunt. Manrod over to field it, underhands it to Vladdy. We're going to the bottom of the 10th. Wouldn't it be perfect if Vladdy could be the one to send us on to the next series? He's in a full count. And here is the pitch. He chases it. And with that flyout from Josh Kurson, we're headed to the 12th now. Tension just continues to build here at Rogers Center. Willie Page, that's a fair ball. That could be extra bases. It gets into the corner. He's rounding first, headed for second, and he's in there. Jeffers, that's a laser beam into right. It's going to get into the gap. That should do it. Page coming around to score. Blue Jays win the wild card. A walk-off gap shot, and we are headed to the division series. Very exciting couple of games for us there as we now look ahead to face Detroit. I don't know much about them at all, but I'm quickly finding out that they've got James Wood and my nemesis here, Xavier Edwards. Their rotation does have a couple of familiar names here, Jackson Jobe and Casey Mize, as well as Troy Melton, Will Warren, Bailey Ober, and Ryan Weathers, who just got traded to the Yankees in real life. Can we continue our run? It is Blue Jays Tigers. Here we go. Bubic and Jobe, Game 1. Jobe, Game 1, we lose. Game 2, and we're up 1 here, bottom of the 9th. Manrod is looking for the save here in Detroit. Runner on first with nobody out here. There's strike 1. Count is now full. Here's the 3-2 on the way. Grounded. This could be a double play. Over to second for 1, to first, and that's 2. 1 out away from evening up the series here and getting the save. Rodriguez to the 9-hole hitter. Duno grounded to short. And with his defense over there, no problem. Miller makes the play. Manrod gets the save. The series is 1-1. Kurson with a clutch 2-run shot in the 8th, looks like, gave us the win there. Now headed home to Toronto for Game 3. We win 1-0 and a chance to clinch the series here in Game 4. We get it done. We'll be taking on the Mariners or the Red Sox. Not a whole lot of offense in these 3 games, but the pitching staff gets the job done. Beck went 7, giving up 0. Remember, he's a Rule 5 guy from way back in the beginning of this video. As I simulate ahead, the ALCS is going to be against the Red Sox. We saw they took us down in the division this year. They had 3 more wins than us, and they are ranked 2nd. They are usually absolutely disgusting during the 2020s and early 2030s. And especially in this video because they have Yordan Alvarez. Crochet, for some reason, is in Triple-A. That doesn't seem right. He did pitch this year. I wonder if he's coming back from an injury. He is not pitching game 1, though. It's going to be Bubic versus Cutter Crawford. Boston has home field advantage here at Fenway, and the AL is not as strong as the NL right now. We've already made it a little bit farther than I expected. Honestly, our first playoff run continues to the ALCS. Going way back to the first offseason, I signed Kris Bubic in anticipation of games like this and for him to be a Game 1 starter for us in the playoffs. With Jordan looming on deck, here's a full count pitch from Bubic, and that's ball 4. The bases are loaded. That is 4 walks today for our ace, and this is not good. Jordan with the bases juiced. Thankfully, he pops that up, but that is still going to bring home a run. Shea Langeliers at the plate. Bubic having to work very hard. 1-2 pitch on the corner. He limits the damage to just 1. Vladdy has been by far our best hitter in the postseason so far. We are leaning on him very heavily. He's batting .364, and here he is in the top of the 4th. He chases that one for the second out. Lackluster offensively for us so far, and I do think Bubic is starting to tire out here. He gives up another run. A lot of hits here. Bases are loaded, and he's out of the game. Jumping back in the top of the 8th, we're now down 3, but 2 on and nobody out. Can we start a comeback here? Get through. Perdomo diving play. Throw to first in time. The lineup does turn over, though, and we've still got 2 runners on. I would have loved to see the CPU pinch hit Justin Henry Malloy here for Lars Nootbaar in this lefty-lefty situation. Nootbaar has nice plate discipline, but bad contact against lefties, although that's hung down the middle. Grounds it to second. We'll trade a run for an out. Red Sox go to the pen for Will Vest now, righty to face Vierling. Vest, a former member of the Tigers bullpen who we just defeated in the DS. He's coming in here. 3-2 count with 2 outs at the top of the 8th. Here's the pitch to Vierling. That is down the left field line. Jordan, not a good defender, is not going to get there. The stage is set for Vladdy with a massive opportunity. He is the go-ahead run, but he flies it out to Cedon in center. Down to our final strike now. Here's the pitch. Back-to-back front door sweepers. Sox take game 1. Looking for revenge here against our division rival. They took us down in the regular season, and they're already up 1-0. In game 2, they win again, and that was Liberatore on the mound. So now we head home for game 3. The bases are loaded in extras. We are all tied up for now. Manrod is in his 2nd inning of work here. That's a nice pitch. 32nd pitch on the way for Rodriguez. Here's the delivery. Got him. And Willie Castro, why did I not enter the game? He walks off with a solo shot. We do end up taking game 3, 4-3. It's a very tough balance in these videos of when to enter and when not to, because it takes a very long time to film the actual gameplay, and I decided not to, and I missed a walk-off there, which gets the series to 1-2. We're still at home here. We do end up losing game 4 with our backs against the wall in game 5. Kris Bubic looks like he's going to finish this off. We're up 8-0, and we do defeat the Red Sox 8-0 there, so the series is 3-2. Liberatore on the mound for game 6. Trying to push us to a game 7. We win. Here we go. It all comes down to this and 2 young starters in real life. Emmett Sheehan on the Dodgers and Peyton Tolley on the Red Sox are going to be facing off in an elimination game for a spot in the World Series. Both lineups are hot right now. I'm going to try not to miss any highlight moments during this game. It is game 7 of the CS. We saw the way Guerrero Jr. heated up in big moments during the 2025 postseason run. Let's see what he's got today in a game 7. Will he have some more iconic moments in store? Here's a 2-2 from Tolley in the first. Got him. J-Hen, that's a screamer. And it's fair just over the third baseman's glove. Throw coming into second, not in time. And we've got a runner in scoring position in the top of the first. 2 outs. There we go. Willie Page up the middle. That should bring home a run. Cedon does have a great arm, though. Throw to the plate. Thankfully offline. It got there in time. It is up to Emmett Sheehan. He's been great so far in the playoffs. 12 innings, 2.25 ERA. Very, very solid. Perdomo leads off today again, this time from the left side. Sheehan looking for a nice start to the game. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Strike 3. And that fly out for Roman Anthony. It's a 1-2-3 first. Page makes the grab. Josh Curson, that's headed towards the monster. Alvarez looking to play it off the wall. It's off the middle of the monster. Slow reaction. Curson's not very fast, but he is going to cruise into second base here to lead off the second. Jeb has broken out over the years since we picked him up in that Rule 5 draft. He is also hot right now in the postseason, and that is a base hit into left. Like I said, Curson's not very fast. He's got to hold at third. Emery, a second rounder from 2025. I believe right after Curson in the first round. He's got 2 in scoring position. Massive opportunity. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Ball 4, bases loaded. And he's going to ground it to first. And we do get a run. Kind of a weird play there, but it's 2-0 Jays. Not sure what happened with the pass squatch here. Just very slow reaction after stepping on first there. Softly hit, shallow left. Alvarez can't get there. His defense is really hurting the Red Sox, and we are up 4-0 early. Vladdy comes up clutch. In this situation, you've got to pitch aggressively. Limit the amount of base runners. Solo shots are not going to kill you. You're done with another solo shot. It's 4-2. Jeffers, that's off the bag. I didn't even know what to say there. We do get a run here. It's 5-2. I need to see a replay of that one. Check this one out. Jeffers makes contact here, going straight at Vladdy on third, and it hits the front corner of the bag. That's a fair ball, and it goes towards the dugout. We are only 9 outs away from heading to the World Series. Sheehan looks like he's about done for the day. There's 2 on, and Brian Burke's coming in. Burke is one of the closers we drafted. This was back in 2026. He is in a huge spot. Biggest moment of his short career so far. Can he work his way out of the jam? Perdomo at the plate. Full count pitch, ball 4. Getting very tense now. Crowd on their feet. Campbell at the plate. Bases loaded. Bottom of the 7th. 2-2 pitch. Got him! A quiet 8th inning, and here we are, bottom of the 9th, 3 outs away from going to the World Series in our first ever playoff run. Manrod was second place for reliever of the year this year. Marcelo Meyer grounded at first. Vladdy flips it to Manny. 2 down. Here is the pitch. Popped up. Out into left. Willie Page tracks it down into the corner. Makes the catch. We are heading to the Fall Classic. So we take down Jordan and the Jordanettes, and we will be facing the Braves here in the World Series. I need to show you their roster in a moment here because it is insane. But I want to set this up and say that if we were to win this title, I think this would be the quickest turnaround for sure in a one-man only, maybe in any of my rebuilds. It's only 2029. We are a little bit ahead of schedule with a big opportunity. Now, I mentioned that the NL is quite a bit stronger than the AL, and even though the overalls are not super high here, the Braves are really, really good. Acuna, of course, but they also have Marte, CJ Abrams, Steven Kwan, Mark Vientos. Drake Baldwin's really coming to his own here. Both Schwellenbach and Alcantara are very, very good. And then they have Strider and Waldrop as well. In the back end of the bullpen, they have Bautista and Kerkering, who I tried to sign going into this year, although Manrod definitely outplayed him. On our side, the middle of the lineup is hot right now. Vladdy, Curson, and Page. So those are going to be the guys we focus on during this series. And it would be nice to win this while Vladdy is still above 90 overall, because from here on out, it's only going to get worse. Here we go. It is Blue Jays Braves 2029 World Series. Can we get off to a hot start? I'm always asking for that. Schwellenbach is taking the hill for the Braves. Jeffers, deep to left here, top of the 2nd, and that is gone. Our catcher with his 4th home run of the postseason. It is 1-0. Blue Jays strike first. Bubic has been very, very good so far today. A lot of strikeouts. No runs given up by him through 4 here. He's still got a lot of stamina left too, but not a whole lot going on in this game, although there's back-to-back singles, 2 runners in scoring position. And Acuna Jr. is coming to the plate. Game 1 hanging in the balance a little bit here. This is not a guy you want to see in a high-leverage situation. 2-2 from Bubic, ground ball. That is going to score a run. We are all tied up. And the Braves add on another one. Riley solo shot here. 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th. Vladdy will get a chance here, but it's looking like we're going to lose game 1. Here's the 1-2 pitch coming downhill from Bautista. Strike 3. That is a great fastball. Anything is possible, but I don't have a ton of confidence that we will be able to get past this Braves team. We're going into game 2 here, which we do win. Game 3 is Sheehan versus Strider. We win that one 11-2. Game 4, we lose 1-5. Game 5, back around to Bubic versus Schwellenbach. What do you think? Are we going to win it? We're going to lose it? Here we go. We lose back against the wall in Game 6. Trying to push to a Game 7, and we are unable to do it. We are eliminated in 6 games. Well, that was a good run. I did get my hopes up quite a bit until I saw we were facing the Braves. I had seen them throughout the year, and they were very good. But going from an 86-76 record and first playoff appearance going all the way to the World Series, that does give me quite a bit of confidence. We are going to be losing quite a few guys, though, including Kramer, Bierlich, Jeffers, Manrod, Joyce, Castro, and Colby Allard. So out with the old and in with the new. We did make a lot of money coming off that playoff run, so we've got plenty available if there's the right high-level free agent available for us. But I'm also very interested in giving the younger guys a shot, like our starter, Abraham Escalona. There's a few other guys here as well. Danny Emery, of course, is going to get full playing time next year. We saw him for a little bit in 29. And then we've also got Alejandro Medina, who I think is going to be our third baseman in place of Bierling. I think the youth movement is about to be fully underway here as we look ahead towards the 2030s. There is one position in free agency that I absolutely need to fill, and that is catcher. And Cal Raleigh is the number one free agent available. However, I think I need a longer-term solution, and 2 years, I don't think it's going to be enough. We don't really have anybody coming up in the farm system. I'm kind of interested in Drake Baldwin coming from the Braves, who just defeated us in the World Series. He did not have a good year last year. However, he showed what he's capable of in 2028 with a 950 OPS and 7 WAR. 4 years, $15 million, feels like a steal, is going on my board. A certain somebody is available in free agency looking for a short-term deal. It is Bo Bichette. I think he could fit very nicely just for one season for us at short. We've got a prospect coming up, and his defense is not that great, but it would be nice to get Bichette and Vladdy back on the same team, and maybe they could win the World Series together next year. These are my main 2 targets, and I'm going to need to get a starter or a reliever after that. How is this possible? Bo does not want to come back. 11% interest. So I'm going to move him to the 1 slot for now and just try to see if I can work that up. We'll try to get Baldwin as soon as possible to free up this space, but that is very surprising to me considering he was, of course, on the Blue Jays. I do have one backup in mind, and that would be Kyle Tucker, who the Blue Jays did not get in real life. Unfortunately, he went to the Dodgers. The only problem is he has a qualifying offer attached to him, so I'd lose a draft pick. New sheriff in town. Jeffers is out. He was our franchise catcher, and Baldwin is in. Schwellenbach is going from the Braves to our division. He's going to the Red Sox. They just got better. Meanwhile, the Orioles gave Jackson Holliday a long-term deal. And I didn't sign Cal, and guess who did? The Red Sox. The Red Sox are also interested in Bichette, and I'm 2 weeks away from being able to give him a deal. I'm not feeling too good about our chances. Tucker's still on the board, and that qualifying offer thing went away, so I guess he didn't accept it. I don't know if we still lose a draft pick. I'm thinking we might, but hey, we should. But I think if I throw him on the board, I can still go for Bichette in 2 weeks. So here's my new free agent list. It looks like Tucker wants to join this team, and it's going to be a really tough call because I do want the storyline of Bichette coming back, but Tucker's at 64%. Let's let it go 1 more week and see what happens. We're not going to be able to get Tucker. It's a now or never, and I'm not willing to compete with these guys' offers. I only want to give him 1 year because his regression is imminent, so all my energy is now into Bichette. And Tucker is going to our division on my Rays. This is a dream that us Rays fans have had because he grew up a Rays fan, but 3 years, I wasn't going to be able to do that. Oh my God, the Red Sox are just stacking their cheddar right now. Junior Camanero's heading over there for 6 years to play third base. They are doubling down. I cannot let them steal Bichette from me. That would be just ridiculous. I'm only going to go 1 year, but I'm going to overpay him way up to $26 million. Let's hope we can get this done. Biggest moment of our offseason. Can the reunion of Bichette and Vladdy come together? It can. We've got 1 year, 1 opportunity to win a World Series with Vladdy and Bichette on the same team. And they are going to be batting right next to each other at 2 and 3 in the lineup next year. This is our lineup going into 2030, I believe it is. Drake Baldwin, our free agent catcher, right there in the middle. Page will be in the 4. I've got a lot of young guys coming up, including this shortstop who I'm having play third base, Alejandro Medina, first rounder from the second year of this video. Even though his hitting stats don't quite look ready yet, he performed extremely well in AAA. He's got the defense for third, so that is going to be his spot. And this is our pitching rotation. Bubic, Liberator, Sheehan, Escalona, the rookie. He's staying up this year no matter what. Need to see what he can do in his age 26 season. Time has flown by. And then I brought in Bryce Wilson just to eat some innings here for us. He's actually a reliever, so I could save some money that way. A few changes in the bullpen here. I had to grab a couple Rule 5 guys. Tristan Beck, we know him. He will be in setup. And then Jordan Wicks will be in middle relief, but he can also start. So Wilson's struggling. These guys are kind of interchangeable. Overall, we have 13 players in the top 100, 13 prospects in the top 100. So the team is just going to get better and better throughout this year. We might see somebody like Elmer Caruso at some point if we need him. So I feel really good about this team. We're ranked 9th, first in contact, 10th in pitching. I'm going to move through this regular season quicker than the last few to get us back to the playoffs. We are on a phenomenal pace heading into this draft here, 58 and 37, but the Red Sox are also on a great pace at 57 and 39. Our ranks dropped down to 16th here. We're still first in contact, but the preseason ranking had us a little bit higher than we've ended up being. We are currently the 11th best offense in terms of runs scored. Vladdy and his partner in crime, Bo Bichette, 1 and 2, with Danny Emery, the young shortstop, having the third most runs scored. Where we are really next level is the pitching staff this season, first in ERA by about a quarter of a point. Essentially, our entire rotation has been very good, but nobody better than Chris Bubic, who, despite his regression, is having his best season yet. And speaking of regression, Vladdy Jr. has dropped back below 90 overall, but he continues to play really well, having a 949 OPS. It is a very strange draft board for me this year, loaded with some good pitchers who moved way up the board. That is all I've got at the top, including a discovery option, William Ye, who looks really good. I also found a discovery closer that I like a lot here, Thomas O'Farrell, very Irish name there. And it's a weird collection of position players. A lot of these guys are older and moved up the board a little bit, or discovery. I don't have any really strong young talent. We're looking at college players in this draft, besides Lewis Haney, a very good discovery center fielder. Have you ever seen the Yankees picking first overall in this game? I don't think I have. This is the worst I've ever seen them play in any rebuild that I've done. I guess that's good because we're in their division, of course, but what's not good is that discovery starter William Ye got taken 4th overall. Most of the guys I really wanted have already fallen off the board, and we pick at 29 and 31 here, so pretty close to back-to-back. And I'm going to go with Carlos Castro as our first pick, a starter that rose way up the board and has very high potential. And then for the 31st overall pick, I'll take the best position player. I've got center fielder Lewis Haney from New York. After that, with pick 64, I took the best closer in the class here, the Irishman Thomas O'Farrell. With pick 105, I went with the best young position player that I have, a high potential center fielder here, James Slade. I really like this guy's name. Discovery starter Nelson Jimenez here for pick number 135, a left-hander. 22-year-old discovery shortstop Drew McCall here for pick number 165. And finally, with pick number 195, we finish things off here with another left-handed discovery starter here, Buster Gonzalez. Going back to the roster again real quick here, Chris Bubic is an all-star once again. That is 2 times in this video here. I showed you before that he's having a fantastic season so far. Our homegrown closer, Brian Burke, is also an all-star. He's really improved. The hits per 9 and walks per 9 have always been elite, but the clutch and home runs per 9 are catching up. He is 26 and 5 this year, which is only okay. But the real breakout this year is coming from Danny Emery, who we got back in round 2 of 2025. Look at the improvement for him here at the plate. Very impressive. He's playing second base. He's only 22 years old. He was one of the, I believe, top 10 prospects in the league, and he has an 896 OPS right now. He's already put up 2.4 WAR, which is pretty good at second base. And so far, he's been our most exciting player. It's really the pitching that continues to carry us, and I do need to point out Abraham Escalona, who is doing very, very well in the majors so far. 3.30 ERA in his first full season. We tested the waters a little bit, and it didn't go too well, but with a 1.03 whip right now, he's up to 84 overall. Feeling very good about Escalona. So we're in first place in a tight division race. I'm feeling good about the team here. Let's take a look at our draft picks in a moment, and then we'll sim to the rest of the season. I just want to get back to the postseason after getting a taste of the World Series last year. We've gotten even hotter after the break here, 68-42 now, 6 games up. The Rays and the Orioles are also playing pretty well, and they are factoring in the wild card, but we've got the division pretty well locked up. It's too early to say for sure. And now I want to take a look at our draft picks. It was kind of a weird draft, but I am very happy to see, especially these top 4, have very high potential. And our first rounder, Carlos Castro, was an insane reach because he was ranked like 120th or something and went all the way up to 3rd. He's 58 overall with a fantastic build here and 95 potential. Future ace, but we're probably not going to see him in the video. Center fielder Lewis Haney is a project with 90 potential and 57 overall, but he does project as a speedy, athletic center fielder. And I could say mostly the same thing about James Slade here, who's also 18, a big project at 49 overall, has not quite as good defense, but just looks solid overall with high potential. Castro's definitely the pick of the draft, but our highest potential guy is this closer, Thomas O'Farrell, who was the best closer in the class, and look at how well-rounded he is. Maybe I'll put him in the minors, but if we need him next season, he could come up right away. 2 more decent starters and a rough around the edges college shortstop, Drew McCall, round out the draft. He does have pad durability, which you can't scout for. But overall, I mean, these top 4 are very, very good, especially for us picking much later in the draft now. The team's great. Another solid draft. Very happy. And I'll see you at the end of this season. Really, really good team this year. We finished with 100 wins on the dot, winning the AL East. And that is not an easy feat to do because I've talked about the Red Sox before. They are the first ranked team in the league, and we ended up with 7 more wins. And those 100 wins put us second behind the 102 wins that the Dodgers ended up with here in 2030. We have got an award here. I'm expecting a Rookie of the Year. We got a Cy Young for our ace, Kris Bubic. How about that? 18 wins for our ace, beating out the likes of Hunter Green and Garrett Crochet. This was the first free agent of the video. And fast forward 2 hours here. And by the way, if you're still watching, thank you. Fast forward 2 hours, and he is the Cy Young winner. We are reaping what we sow. I really thought that Danny Emery was going to get the Rookie of the Year. He was the breakout guy. I called him out before. 842 OPS for the kid, 3.4 WAR at second base. Unbelievable improvement. I think he went up like 6 overall this year. I want to say he was 77 to start the season. Unfortunately, and kind of ironically, the legend from All In from the A's, Jamie Arnold, our rookie over there in that video series, was the one who won the Cy Young here. Now, I put him into the majors in like 2026 in that series, but in 2030, he is a rookie here in this roster, and he had an unbelievable season. Vladdy is down to 88 overall here. The regression is hitting harder and harder each year, but he did lead the league in runs this season, so very happy to see that for him. I already talked about Vladdy and Danny Emery, but Willie Page, our generational talent, was actually the overall best hitter for us. With an 896 OPS, he just took off this season up to 89 overall, and he's getting close to the point where he can take over that center field role for good. Huge leap forward from last season, came in with 34 home runs, double last year, and 103 RBI, 371 on base, and he put up 6.2 WAR. By the way, I missed this from last year. He was actually the playoff MVP in 2029. We are in the top left of the bracket here, already in the ALDS, and we are awaiting Seattle and Texas. Who is it going to be here? It is going to be Seattle. They have Hunter Green as their ace, who we saw was in the Cy Young race, but really they're stronger on the offensive side with Julio, Riley Green, and also Jet Williams, who just got traded in real life today or yesterday as I'm recording this. He went over to the Brewers from the Mets so that they could get Freddie Peralta, but in this version of the world, he is the shortstop for the Mariners. Game 1 of the DS here, it's Bubic versus Hunter Green, which we win 3-2. Bubic having a nice 7 innings there. Game 2 is Escalona versus Schlittler coming over from the Yankees, which we win 1-0. Not a whole lot of offense so far. We can clinch it right now. Liberator versus Sloan, and it is a sweep. We're headed to the CS. and we get to face probably our biggest rival in this video, the Boston Red Sox. And we saw during last offseason that they added both Junior Caminero and Cal Raleigh to the squad here. Caminero ended up being the 2030 MVP. This time we get home field advantage. Toronto crowd very excited as we look to push our way back to the World Series again. Rogers Center, Toronto, Canada, Game 1 of the ALCS. Looking for a 1-2-3 inning here. Roman Anthony at the plate, though, draws a walk. He had a .409 on base percentage in the regular season. With Anthony on first, here is Yordan Alvarez, who pops up into the infield. I always get a little nervous when he's at the plate. That is a clean first. Pitchers duel here in Game 1. Top of the order coming up, though, for the Red Sox, and they are on the board first as Anthony singles home Campbell. 2 on now for Bo Bichette. Bichette, no doubter. Just like Game 7 of the World Series this past season, a 3-run shot here in the playoffs for Bichette. The boys are fired up. He crosses the plate. It is 3-1 Jays. No other offense has happened here in Game 1. We are still up 3-1. And it's a full count with 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Brian Burke looking for the save here. Strike 3. He gets it done. Bubic with a fantastic outing. The bullpen takes it from there, and Bichette leads the way offensively. 1 win down, 4 more to go. Crochet is actually playing this time. He didn't the last time we faced the Red Sox, but that doesn't matter because we win Game 2 anyway. Game 3, 2 on, 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. We're up 2, but Yordan is at the plate. Red Sox fans cheering their team on here. Angel Zerpa's on the mound. He's been so good for us, our high-leverage lefty for the last 3 years in a row. He's got Yordan down to his final strike. He delivers a 1-2, and he got him. So 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th now, but the MVP, Junior Caminero's at the plate. Here's another 1-2 pitch, and that's weakly popped up out into right, and Malloy's going to make the grab. And we do end up taking home Game 3. Zerpa gets out of the jam. We are 1 game away from a sweep here of Boston. Liberatore gave up 3 working into the 7th, but the bullpen shut it down from there. So we defeated Boston in the regular season, winning the division, and now we're 1 game away from the sweep. Emmett Sheehan taking the mound against Mitch Keller, and there we go. We're going back to the World Series. 10-2 in Game 4. That was a dominant showing from the Blue Jays, and who are we going to be taking on in the World Series? It is the Dodgers. Shohei's 35 now and has steadily regressed down to 86 overall, but there is plenty of young talent on this roster, including Ethan Holiday and Matt Shaw. Yamamoto is their ace, and Ellie De La Cruz is the highest overall position player. This is a very good offense. As fate would have it, both the number 1 seeds make it to the end here in the Fall Classic, us in the AL and the Dodgers in the NL, and in Game 1, Bubic faces off against Yamamoto in LA, which we win 4-2. Game 2, it's Escalona and Sasaki, and the bases are loaded, or there's 2 on, and we're all tied up. Already up 1-0 in the series, can Bichette make it 2-0? No stranger to big moments in the playoffs. We've already seen it this year. Bo Bichette, that's another slider down the middle, which he drives out into right. Josh Lowe to the plate, not in time. We take the lead. Danny Emery touches home. And Emery with his speed is just barely able to beat the tag there. Very close play. Quiet postseason for Vladdy so far to this point. He's hitting okay, but he's not really slugging. Batting .281, but not a whole lot of power, and he reaches for that one. Strike 3. I would love to have some extra insurance runs against an offense like the Dodgers, though. Willie Page is at the plate. Here's an 0-2. That's a laser, but right to second base. And we're going to the bottom of the 8th. And Tristan Beck has not given up a run so far in the postseason. But Josh Lowe immediately ties it up. I go to simulate, and that proves to be bad juju for us. And Tom Seibel comes in and chokes the lead away. It's 6-5 now, Dodgers. Edwin Diaz has got to be in his late 30s now. He's back here as the closer for the Dodgers. And Medina's at the plate down to his final strike. There it is. Bichette gets the clutch hit, but the bullpen blows it, and the Dodgers win this game. Series is all tied now, 1 apiece here, and we get to go back home now for 3 straight games. Liberatore taking the mound in Game 3, which we win 6-3. Game 4, it's former Dodger Emmett Sheehan going up against Yamamoto, which we win 5-3. We are 1 game away from a title. We have 1 chance to get it done here in front of our home crowd in Toronto. Full house here at the Rogers Stadium. Game 5, Dodgers Blue Jays. And our ace and the Cy Young winner is back on the mound. Not just a great regular season, he's been very, very good in the postseason as well, and Elly De La Cruz starts this game with a flyout to Willie Page. Josh Lowe burned us in Game 2 of the series, but he is much worse against lefties, although he gets into that one, out into deep right, and that's going to be off the wall. And Will Smith, no doubter, we are down 2-0 early. We haven't scored yet, but I do think we are seeing River Ryan pretty well today. We're in the bottom of the third. Vladdy's at the plate, and he draws a walk. We've got 2 on, another chance here. There you see the numbers for Willie Page so far. Not good. Can he drive in a run here? And he cannot. Another strikeout. Curson, State Fair. Oh, yeah. Fair by plenty. 2-run shot here. Bottom of the fourth. Tie ball game. Former Rookie of the Year, his second home run of the playoffs. It is 2-2. Bubic has been really good ever since that homer in the first. He's up to 9 Ks today. Our pitching staff has done a great job to keep this thing all tied up. It's just the offense has not been able to do anything lately. 2 outs now here. And that's a ground ball to first. We're going to the 9th. 2-2. And due up in the 9th is going to be 3 of our young guys back-to-back-to-back. Curson, Medina, and Emery. Another clean inning from the bullpen, so here we go. We've got a great chance to win this game right here and now. Can Danny Emery be the one to send us home here, or at least keep us going in the bottom of the 9th? There's a base hit into right. Plenty of speed on second base with Emery. Nootbaar at the plate can win the World Series with a single. That's hit into center. He popped it up. We are going to extra innings. I really don't want to go back to LA to try to finish this off. There's a lot of tension here in this series. Malloy leads off the 10th with a strikeout. Can Toronto get the storybook ending it deserves? Can Vladdy do it? Full count pitch, ball 4. How about Willie Page? Toronto's newest superstar who has been really disappointing in the playoffs. Batting 116. There we go. That's a base hit into the gap. Vladdy's not the fastest, but it's bobbled at center. He's coming around to the plate. And the throw is not going to be there. Toronto wins the World Series. No way. What an end to the game, and Vladdy does score the winning run. There we go. Third installment of One Man Only finishes on a perfect note right there. I mean, I wish Vladdy hit a walk-off homer. I was begging for it here, but we still get the World Series title done in 2030. World Series MVP is Danny Emery, and playoff MVP is Bo Bichette. That makes perfect sense for us. Baldwin and Curson also had good postseasons, but Bichette with 3 home runs and 12 RBI honestly carried us. Only 2 playoff runs needed for us. That's very solid. World Series back-to-back years. We lose in 29. We get it done in 30. 100-win season. And we take down the Dodgers. I mean, it's perfect. Blue Jays fans, if you made it to this point, I hope that gives you a little bit of satisfaction. I know it's a game, but it's nice to imagine in our heads that the World Series of 2025 went a little bit differently. And how about Bichette coming back together with his old partner in crime and having some big moments for us in the playoffs? We had a few young guys emerge for us between Willie Page, Josh Curson, and just this season, Danny Emery. For the most part, the pitching staff throughout this video was all free agent guys besides Escalona. He was the only starter that made it up. I had a bunch more of them lined up in the queue here with A and B potential, but we ended up not needing them. We got the job done. Super fun video. I love the one-man onlys. I think it's a great challenge. The roster is available for you in the description if you want to try it. And I want to know if you made it to this point in the video. And I'm going to know because I'm going to ask you to tell me, what is your prediction for 2026? Will the Blue Jays win the World Series in real life? Who's it going to be? Is it the Dodgers for a three-peat? Let me know. Thank you for watching as always. Take care and peace.